work, sometimes we are trusted to do some tasks, and then we say, hey, we don't know how to do it. But somehow when we do it, we suddenly can do it. It's because hippocampus is at play, right? You don't even have to think so much about it. You suddenly can do it. Okay. Now, another important aspect I want you to remember for all this part is that this is the part where there is a linking of emotion to the memory. Okay. Now, if I were to ask the parents here, right, if you can recall a memory of your child's birth or some significant major event in your life, good or bad, can you recall it in better details or in more details? Yeah, chances are you can, because I can recall how my delivery was, right? Why? Because the memory and there's strong emotion involved, right? These two things are linked. So hippocampus plays an important role, right, in these two things. And why it matters, especially in your relationship with your teenagers. How come I'm sharing you something so irrelevant? It's actually very relevant because when we are relating with our teenagers or our children, sometimes we can be very upset. We blow up, volcanic eruption, right? These are the kind of moments that your teenager will remember. Because strong emotions are there, memory is formed. And they will carry this memory with them for a very long time. I remember that day, my mommy, my daddy had a volcano eruption about this matter. They carry it with them. Okay, whether they learn something or not from that is I don't know lah. But I'm saying that that is something that they carry with them. Okay, whether it's good or bad. So that's why it's very important. Okay, all right. Moving on. Now, in general, teenagers, we go through 3 types of changes. Okay, the emotional, the social and biological, and the relationship changes. Okay, so I'm going to go into the other 2 later on. But for emotional changes, you know that, yes, because of hormonal changes, estrogen and testosterone are going all over the place. Yes, they are going to be more intense. And of course, emotions are going to fluctuate, right? And sometimes they also don't know how to control it, right? And they are also easily triggered because of all these hormonal changes, right? And one thing that they will do is that because of their bodily changes, they become more self-conscious. And one thing that they will start to think about, because they are able to do a bit more abstract thinking, higher reasoning, right? Then they will start to think about, okay, what is my purpose in life? What is my identity? Who am I? Where do I belong? What are my core values? They will ask all these very complicated, complex questions. Yeah, so parents, you have to be ready for that. Yeah, as they grow older, they will ask you all these things, or they might show it, and you have to come in to help them. Now, another thing is they feel a more sense of invisibility. So you might see that, youth, a bit more risk-taking behavior. Yeah, because of this need for invincibility. Now, there is a book that is been already published by this Winifred Gallagher. I haven't really read it, but I did read a part of it. It says that our human brain is actually primed for novelty. It's always primed to look out for something new. And you know this already because that's how inventions are made, right? Last time, we have moved on from bow and arrow to actual weapons because humans are always looking for new things. How do we create things? How do we innovate? Same thing, right? This idea is also, it's a trait in all human beings, and it fuels our ability to be actually life-sustaining lah. All right, so that's why for teenagers, also same thing. They are always seeking out new experiences, new thrills. So that's why sometimes it can lead to risk-taking behaviors. Now, why am I sharing this? Because it is all science. And it's not because, my teenager behaved this way because she want to personally attack me. No, I'm very tired from work, want to still do this. No, don't take it personally. It is really science. Yeah. Yes. So we have to understand a little bit about this nugget, so that you know, okay, maybe my child is behaving this way because of this part of science. Okay, this is something biological. All right. Now, the list of these social and biological changes is actually not exhaustive. There's actually a lot more. Yeah, but I think one of the things that I talked about earlier was actually risk-taking. And I think risk-taking could be one of the concerns that a lot of teenage parents, parents with teenagers, that could mean a totally different thing. Parents with teenagers face. Because, remember I told you about the brain? The prefrontal cortex, this part of your brain already developed, right? It's not developed yet. But this is the one that actually controls impulses, makes decision, right? But the emotional part of the brain already developed. And that is how the fight and flight comes in. So do you see that there's a mismatch? So what does this mean? When your teenager is faced with a crisis or a difficult situation, which part of the brain do you think is activated first? The emotional or the reasoning? it's always the emotional brain comes first. Emotion, reaction, right? So what we need to do is we need to always calm this thing down first, and then the reasoning will kick in. The prefrontal cortex will kick in. All right. So that's the thing that we need to take note. Now, another thing is the sense of self-esteem. Also another big area that tends to affect teenagers and also affect the parents, right? Because body image is a big thing, right? Especially for girls, because there is research that have shown that nowadays the media is like just blowing things out of proportion, especially how the Western media is portraying beauty, right? And what they are selling to our young on what is an ideal body shape, right? So we tend to follow, yeah. We parents also follow. Don't say our youth lah. Our youth definitely will follow, right? What is fashionable, what is not. How should we look? How should we wear our hair? Now, all these things, especially for ladies, right? Their self-esteem is going to be something. It's a big thing lah. Okay. So an area that you need to look at, and what are they? You need to find out what they are looking at lah, and where they are getting all this information from. Next is the changes in relationship with parents. Okay, so there's going to be increased conflict. Why? Because as teenagers progress, their brain grow bigger. So they are also capable of critical thinking skills. That means increased differences in opinions, because now they are able to have their own opinions and they may want to say it out, their point of view. Parents, shock. Wow, last time never say, now say. Oh, wow, take it personally. This is where the clash happens and conflict is inevitable, right? And on top of this, less time with family, more time with friends, right? Because as they grow, they have no choice. The way the school system is structured is they have to spend more time in school because of tuition, because of CCA. So they are inevitably, they have to spend more time with their friends than with us, right? Yeah. So what I want to leave you, okay, in this from this slide is that yes, although you know that yeah, my youth is actually going away from me or drifting apart from me, okay lah, never mind lah, I must understand, because Sharifah already said in the seminar, yeah lor, it's normal lor, less time with family, more time with friends. Don't take it at surface value, okay? You have to know that yes, no matter what age, right, strong parental bond remains important for emotional security and guidance, and this is what research has said, right? And no matter what age. So please say that, okay, yeah, although friends important to him or her, yeah, I still have a place in their life. Always remember this, okay? And show it as well. And later we'll talk about how to show it. Okay, now, question. Do we need to adapt our parenting style as our child enters adolescence phase? Yes or no? Do you think yes? Can I see if anyone of you say yes? Can just give me a emoticon or raise your hands or anything. Yeah, okay. I'm seeing some raised hands. Yes. Yes, some other are raising hands. Yes. Yeah, so you guys agree, right? Yeah, so I actually know a parent from a real L3 case that actually changed from being permissive, meaning don't know this, don't know that, or I'm not sure, that kind of thing. I leave it to him, to suddenly knowing it all, knowing, trying to find out, being very involved, yeah, and being more involved in the youth school until ended up being a school volunteer. Yeah, so there are parents who actually went to that direction because they understand that they need to actually adapt their style, okay, from being permissive to being more involved. Okay. Now, many of us already would know this, okay, and that it's harder to actually make our teenagers obey. Obey is such a strong word, like very authoritarian, but yes. So the thing is, for us parents, we feel that if they don't obey us, we actually feel very angry. Yeah. And then what happens, right? If we continue in this state or in this perception that, our child need to obey us, right? Come what may, we are going to end up in a vortex of helplessness, and we are going to go into conflicts every time. And this is a very stressful place to be in for anyone, right? So that's why we actually need to look at the quality of our current relationship with our teens. Okay, so it means we need to look at how we then build relationship, okay, so that they feel that they are also very important, and hence they themselves will follow. Okay, so not really obey, but actually following. Yeah, so relationship dynamics that foster connection. So we have to start by asking ourselves, okay, how would you rate your emotional connection with your teen currently? Now, for those who just join us, okay, please ask yourself this question. Think about how you are relating to your teenagers currently, your emotional connection. Okay, let's just be honest. Okay, give me some form of reaction, right? If you feel that you are superbly connected. So means, okay, some of you actually, some of you commented, yeah, getting less. Okay. Oh, you all prefer to use the chat box. Go ahead, okay? Oh, some of you say no, okay? Right, right. Yes, connected. 70%? Okay, so, okay, let's go percentage, yeah? How many of you 50%? So ni. Yeah. It's very important to know this. You have to assess yourself. Yeah, be honest. Yes, thank you. Yeah. It's very important to assess your own emotional connection, and later we'll show you a pyramid of why that's actually important. But thank you so much for your honest responses. Yes. Yeah. Oh, how to judge this? Oh, sure. Okay. So that's a very good question. Right. You need to see how in a day, maybe in a week, right? Or maybe yeah, in a week lah. Okay. How many times are you actually conversing about how you are feeling? You know, what makes you, you know, like about your day to day. But not about your mundane things, like routine things. Hey, have you eaten? What did you buy at school? What's your pocket money? You should do your schoolwork. No, no, no. About more things beyond that. If you are, that is emotional connection, right? Hey, tell me about your friends. Yeah, my friend got this problem. Then oh yeah, hey, what's your day like? What was interesting to you today? Something like that. That's emotionally connecting, right? Yeah. So that's how you judge lah. Okay. If they every time you ask and then they shun you out, they don't talk about it, then you roughly know, okay, they are not going to go. You know, they're not really responsive in that area. Okay. All right. So no matter what it is, just need to know this is the formula. This is the secret, not secret. This is the useful triple P strategy pyramid. Now, usually, right, when parents come and see us for L3 one-to-one consultation, right, they always tell us the problem. My teenager is this, is that, right? Always go into the problem. But what we always ask as practitioner, we always ask the purple and the green. Hey, tell me more about when you talk to your teenager, what do you talk about? How do you show affection? Okay, what does that look like? A wink, a hug, a pet, a kiss goodnight, whatever it is, right? Tell us, right? How do you spend time with your teenager beyond the mundane tasks like walking to school? Beyond that, meaning weekend, you carve out time to spend things to do with them that's interesting for them. These are all things that you need to ask yourself, right? Right. And then if they do something good, how much attention are you giving it? What praise do you give them? Right? What opportunities you give them to do certain things in the household, right? So these are very important things that we always ask, because these are actually the foundation of good relationship before we talk about problems. Because no matter what our children or youth they will go into problem one. They will always have a problem behavior at the end of the day. Yeah, because that's the learning journey. Okay, but we always want to know what's the foundation. So that's why you have to ask yourself this question. Okay, now the balance between push and pull. Now, roughly, let me just walk you through this diagram. As our kids grow older, we have to adjust how much we push, means how much we push our authority on them, and how much we pull them in situations, right? So this idea is basically saying, with age comes wisdom. I don't know if that's true, but yes, in this regard is what we are saying. So we want you guys to move along the spectrum of support depending on the age of the child. So for example, toddler, if you look at how your child was growing up last time, toddler, we push them to do this, we get them, we give them more support, because they're exploring. We always say, hey, reach out for that ball, put that book back in where they belong, keep the toys in the container, blah, blah, blah. Primary schooler, learning how to ride bicycle. We push them by giving them encouraging words. We give them important instructions, how to do this, to do that, right? And then after that, let's say they don't want to go back from playground. We pull them back with boundaries. This is the rule, They want to do homework. We say, hey, this is homework time now. You have to do 3 pages of exercise book. This kind of thing, right? As they grow older, you can see the age, the push going down, the arrow is going down. You cannot really push them anymore, right? We find ourselves not being able to do this with authority. Instead, we constantly have to pull them back through our relationship, okay? And also through our role modeling, right? Meaning we get them to understand how to differentiate right versus wrong through role modeling, all right? Or by giving them choices. Oh, okay, if you choose to do this, this is what's going to happen. If you go for this option, this is what's going to happen. What will you choose? Then they will choose, allowing them to take ownership of their decision. Okay, so that's the idea behind the push and pull. You can read more. It's everywhere on the internet if you Google push and pull parenting. Yeah. Okay, so these are the 6 ingredients in the formula for raising responsibility in our teenagers. All right, as they grow mature, right? This is some of the things that they require lah. Okay, so you don't have to write this down. They will be found in your tip sheets later on when we send you next week. Okay, first ingredient is taking part of family decision making. Now, we want them to feel important. We have to include them, right? Now, I'm sure some of you have already done this, okay? But I'll still walk you through the content. By involving our teenager in family decision making, okay, we are actually providing them opportunity for them to practice this aspect, okay, which is decision making. They are making decision in their home. They are going to carry this skill in any environment that they go, okay, in school, in work, in CCA, whatever. Okay, the thing is, for teenagers, if we wait for them, they will never show, or they will unlikely show interest, especially if your child is in an environment that is not used to all these things, right? You have to seek out for their opinion. Okay, ask them, hey, what contribution do you want to make on this matter? Okay, so we have to model openness in seeking opinion. Hey, what do you think about this? Any thoughts about that? So you have to always ask this use this liner at home. Okay, not only with your teenager, also with your spouses or with other family members. Okay, now when we model such thing, our teenager will then understand that, oh yeah, okay, I think in this family I do have I can say certain things. I can contribute in certain ways, right? And then this allows them to take a bit more responsibility, okay? And then at the same time, they know that, okay, they are able to understand how to value other people's views about things. There are some people, if you have met in your lifetime, right, really cannot listen to other people's views. Their way is the right way. If not, it's the highway, right? Right? Okay. So we don't want our teenagers to be like them, right? We want it to be a bit different, and we want them to understand that whatever choices that they make have consequences. And later we talk about that later. In detail lah. Okay. In summary, practice makes perfect. So we have to get them to be involved in family decision making. Okay, so that they are able to have a very good practicing ground. Now, how do we encourage this? Okay, it doesn't have to be something big or major. We just involve them with simple things like, hey, what meals do I have to, do you want me to cook tonight for dinner? Or what movies do you want to watch this weekend? Or you have a pet, hey, what do you want to call this pet? What do you want to call a new dog? I don't know. Anything lah, right? I'm sure you can think of something, right? Yeah, hey, when should we paste the new painting that we just bought from IKEA, whatever, right? Look for opportunities to discuss. Okay, and then now when they do give us some thoughts, we acknowledge all, good or bad. Okay, it's okay. We just take it as it is, right? We don't criticize any suggestion, because remember what I say about the teenagers' emotion-driven brain. Yeah, if we don't give them positive regard, they will not believe us that we are taking them seriously. Then they will withdraw. They won't give us any more ideas. Yeah lah, that time I say, then you give me a face. Hippocampus activated already. Okay, they have a memory of an unpleasant experience, right? And they felt bad about it. Then they will not do it anymore. They will not contribute anymore. So that's the danger of this. Okay, so whatever things that they give you, just take it in. Okay, well, if it's not a good idea, just say, well, that's one idea. Do you have any more? Don't need to say, yeah, that's a okay idea. That's not a good idea. That's a nonsense idea. I don't say all this. I'm sure you don't lah, but I'm just saying out loud. Yeah. So the thing is, we need to just pay attention to their suggestion, okay, so that they feel that they are valued lah. And whatever behavior that they do, like maybe they roll their whatever, we just ignore if we can ignore. Okay. All right. Now, if you find that there are some things that you need to talk about and you find it very difficult to discuss, you need to hold a family meeting. It's more of a formal one lah, not really as casual. You can do it over meal time. I find it works for me during meal time, where everybody is quite relaxed, and after they almost 80% done with their meals, I probably will start talking about something that I observe that's troubling lah, right? And it works because everybody is seated down, right? and they're not in a rush. And one of the things that we have to consider when we are doing family meeting is we need to turn off all distractions. And in meal times, usually you don't have distraction, right? By right, you're not supposed to bring any handphone or gadgets or devices or on the TV when you are eating lah. That's the general rule of thumb. Okay, so we start by making it very clear what is the issue. Okay, so sit down, like, what's the issue, what is the concern, right? And then after that, ask everyone for your view. Don't just straight away, hey boy, this is your matter, or says after you talk about the problem, coming back home late, so Albert, what do you think? Oh, shall we go to your teenager? Don't like that. Okay, ask for everybody's opinion about it, because it's definitely going to impact everyone. Okay, right? So go around, round robin lah. Okay, all right. Then maybe try to see if anyone can take notes. Pen and paper is the best. You're saying not using gadgets, so pen and paper is great. All right, and then finally keeping the meetings as short as possible. The rule of thumb for such family meeting is 30-minute stops. Okay, any longer is boring already. Second ingredient is being respectful and considerate. Now, being respectful and considerate means you are polite, you are cooperative, and you are able to follow rules. Okay, now, when someone is respectful, they are able to retain good relationship with those around them. And let's watch a 1-minute video why this is actually a very important tool.
But respect is not what most of us think. Most of us were raised by parents who said, you will respect me or else. That's fear. Teenagers define respect as an upward-looking admiration, a wanting to be like someone, to help the kid find the way out of the madness that they live in. So respect is critical to getting a kid through the tough years. So we have actually investigated that and researched it. We asked kids, who do you not respect? They describe the 10 and the 0 on the parenting scale. The 10 is the Marine Corps drill sergeant, smacks him around, screams, yells. The 0 is the laissez-faire parent, the one who sets up the beer kegs, do whatever you want to do, I don't care. They respect the parents in the middle, the 4, 5, or 6. The parents who walk the walk, not just talk the talk, who have a set of values and do walk them. They respect parents who do not explode, who hold their temper. Or when we do lose our temper, we apologize. We don't act like it's okay for us to go crazy and the child not to. Kids respect the heck out of that. And respect turns out to be the greatest tool in your shed to help your kid get through the difficult years.
Okay. All right. So in the video, he said that children respect parents who walk the walk and talk the talk. So we begin there. We always role model, and I will be repeating this a lot of times throughout the presentation, how important it is for us to be role modeling because they take reference from us. Okay, so when we speak to our teenager, we have to be mindful of our tone, right? Even when we are angry, we will still try to show composure, right? And don't become the Hulk lah. Okay, so one of the things that I roughly applied myself, because I'm also not an angel, right? And although I know positive parenting, sometimes I'm also predisposed to raise my voice, right? Because I'm human, right? So I give this 80-20 rule. This 80-20 rule is actually applied in other settings, but 80-20 rule is 80% I am positive parenting, 20% I'm making mistakes. I tell myself that it's okay to make mistakes because I want to make sure that I'm also not stressed out by parenting, right? So sometimes when we raise our voice, we make a mistake. Sometimes we might, do something that we regret. We just say, hey, you know what? We pull back. Hey, you know what? I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. It's my bad, my mistake, right? I'm going to take a time out. Give me some time. I'll cool down. I'll come back to this later on. We let them know that we make a mistake. And it's okay. What they will learn from that is that, okay, when they lose temper with their friends outside, they also can follow mommy and daddy's script. Okay? Now, the most important thing is that when they do something good, we always have to praise them, especially when they are being polite. Don't let all these good behaviors go unnoticed because it won't be repeated if you don't highlight it. Okay? And then another thing is that if they are rude, okay, we don't have to give. We must remember not to give in. So we have to let them know that any disrespectful behavior have consequences. Okay? And the consequences could be like no dinner out on weekends, no movie night, maybe lesser pocket money, lesser hangout time with friends, whatever it is. Okay? Now, this is something that we need to take note on how to encourage respect. Okay? All right. So, case study. Okay, just a short case study, okay? Later, if there's not enough time, we probably won't have to do any of it, but just a short one about Carol. So Carol is wondering why her 13-year-old daughter is less compliant and more disrespectful compared to last time. As a result, she sometimes directs her anger okay, at her daughter, feeling that she is rude and disobedient. The thing is, her daughter watches TV and YouTube before doing homework, despite the mother instruction to do otherwise. So what Carol do is, Carol will remind the daughter every day, but the daughter will ignore and respond rudely. Okay, so there's tension in the household. Now, if you are Carol, based on what I've shared earlier, right, or what you understand, tell me, what would you do differently? Let's spend a bit of maybe just a few minutes. What would you do differently? No right or wrong, seriously, just feel free to just jump in. I always like to ask this question. Would you let, if there's something that is the problem here, which is watches TV and YouTube, would you still let them watch it? Yeah, you set boundaries about it, right? So setting boundary around the item that is causing the problem. So if the item is watching TV and watching YouTube, right? You need to come in and set boundary. How would you set boundary? Will you just, Carol watching TV, the daughter watching TV, they just say, hey, you're watching TV too much. I have to set this boundary right now, blah, blah, blah. Will you do that? Or would you do a sit? Yeah. Ask her if there's something that I've done, okay, that made her upset. Okay, yeah, okay, so you want to go into the emotion attending behavior. Very good. Yeah. Because sometimes the reason why our children don't follow instruction is how we ask them to do it. The timing is not right. Maybe they are already 5 minutes. No, maybe at the 1 minute mark towards the end, you ask them to off the TV. Angry already. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So some of you actually shared. Thank you so much. Other parents can just read what other parents share. This is what we say cross learning. Okay, so sit down and set boundaries together. That's right. Family meeting, right? Especially for teenagers. Tell them what's the problem. Ask them about their opinion, what they think about it. That's right. Make an agreement. That's right. That's actually a behavioral contract. That's a good one. Yeah. So thank you so much for parents who have contributed. That's great. Other parents, go ahead and just continue typing it in so the other parents can take notes. Yeah. Great. Okay, thank you so much. So helping your teen to comply with reasonable requests. This is the problem, right? Most times, parents feel disrespected when they ask their teenagers to do something. Then they don't want to listen. Then we get angry. Can you load the laundry? Never do. Ask again. Still never do. Then you come marching. Whoa, you do now. Raise your voice. Sorry, a bit high. Yeah. Then too much pushing. Right. Then some parents, Sheila, I asked, never do. I'm so tired. Okay, I do lah. Then too passive. How do we get them to comply? Okay, simple Follow this structure. Very easy. Okay, we give the instruction short and simple. Now, my favorite is putting away devices, because always got problem one when we ask the child to put away the devices. You get into the room, in the same room as them, give them eye contact, arm's length, firm voice. This is my firm voice when I talk to my daughter when I'm giving such instruction. Okay, but for now I won't use this voice lah. So we will say things like, Danny, please put away your handphone. Okay, because it's dinner time. Okay, now let's say your child do this on the right side. Pray. They follow. Just follow up with the praise. Okay, the difficult part is when they don't follow. Okay, let's say they don't follow. You repeat the same thing again. Danny, I've asked you to put your handphone away now and go to dinner. Can you please do so? No, please do so. Don't say can you. Say please do so. Okay, because when you say can you, you're giving them an option. So just say please do that now. Okay, you wait for 5 seconds. So every time you ask a question, you wait for 5 seconds. Okay, now let's say the child does not do. Okay, all right. You come in with a consequence already. You say, Danny, I've asked you twice to put your handphone away, but you still do not listen. Therefore, there is a consequence for this behavior. You will not have what's the consequence? Okay, one of the things that works for parents is that we always share in L3, list out all the consequences beforehand. Anytime you want to use, plug one out. So it could be 30 minutes of no TV time, or you will lose the rest of the phone for the rest of the night, etc., etc. Right? So let's say, I would say timeout is not relevant here, because for teenagers, timeout doesn't work. Usually it's up to 10 years old, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So upper adolescents, we don't use this. We use logical consequences. Okay. Now, let's say after you say, still don't want to listen. Okay. Mommy, daddy confirm triggered, right? Leave the room for a while. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Do whatever coping method that works for you, right? Drink water, wash face, whatever. Come back. I see that you are not factually, look at what you are seeing. I see that you are still here. It seems that you have not, you have chosen not to follow the instructions given. That means additional 15 minutes of no TV time will be added. So, wow, 30 minutes just now for the first time. Then add another 15 minutes, 45 minutes, no TV time. Wow, still the teenager will feel like, okay, I want to test boundary. Still they won't listen. Come back again, add on 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. Until when they are pushed to the edge, they will come. Surely they will come. Because they are listening. Additional, they are counting, they are doing the maths in their brain. Okay, so that's how this method works. No need to raise your voice at all. Okay, all right, so try it. Okay, this will be found in your tip sheet. If not, you can just write it down. Okay, the whole idea of logical consequences is that we want to teach them to follow instruction. All right, we want to teach them without knowing that whatever decision that they make have consequences. That's the idea. Punishment is different because punishment is to shame them, right? We impose our authority or our control, but when they grow older, we cannot assert ourselves anymore, right? So that's why punishment won't work. And usually punishment don't make sense. What I want you to leave from this slide is that don't do punishment because punishment doesn't make sense. Usually it's very harsh and you do it out of anger. Okay, so for example, you don't want to put your gadget away. Wow, okay, I'll throw your school socks away. I'll cut your hair. This and all no link. Okay, yeah. Now, why family rules are important? Okay, because it makes life predictable. These are all the benefits. Okay, but if I can assert my opinion here, now having a set of family rules will actually help you in difficult times because those are the things that you're going to fall back on when your child doesn't listen to you. Okay, because the rule says that. What does the rule says? The rule says this. And what are you doing? Oh, then the teenager will look at the rule. Oh, okay. Then the teenager will know already, right? Because the rules have to be agreed upon before it's up there, right? Right. So they know. So yeah. So simple rules, usually 2 to 3 rules is great for teenagers. Okay. Actually, for in general, 2 and 3 rules are great. So it could be for those who don't do things at the designated time. You can put rules as prioritizing your responsibilities at designated time, or keep your hands and legs to yourself. Use polite voice. So always use positive, use positive tone when you're writing your rules. Okay. All right. So we are not at work. This is not a top-down chain. It's not a one-way street of communication. So we have to involve our teenager when we are making rules. Okay, so when you are making rules, you have to get them to sit down, get them to take part, ask them for their thoughts about it. So for example, teenagers will probably have curfew time, right? So let's say the curfew that you set is 7 o'clock, right? Teenager will negotiate. Yeah, 8 o'clock can or not? Okay, we hear them, their case. Okay, tell me why they want 8 o'clock. We hear. Oh, because my blah, 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 blah. Then I have to take the bus, da, 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 da. Yeah, it will take time, da, da, da. Okay, listen. Then I take bicycle sometimes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right. Then as a parent, okay, thank you so much for sharing with me your opinion. If let's say you cannot make the decision straight away, okay, take it back. I will discuss with your father, or we will discuss as parents, and then we'll come back to you on this decision. Okay, but thank you so much for sharing. All right. Do state the rules positively. So if let's say we want to say about the curfew, we don't say don't come back after 7 o'clock. We say please be home by 7 o'clock. Okay, or don't forget to wash your utensils. We just say wash your utensils after eating, this kind of thing, or put your dirty laundry away in the basket. Yeah. Now, third ingredient. So not to worry, these are all found later on in your tip sheet. Okay, so I'm moving quite quickly now. The third ingredient is involving in family activities. Now, it's very important. Remember, we say about the foundation of Triple P, which is spending time, being emotionally connected. How do we do it? Through family activities lah. Okay. So the thing is, we need to make sure that if you have family members that are multiple children, there are a few things that sometimes some other children don't like, right? So we have to avoid clashes. So we always probably have to draw lots lah to make it fair, right? Sometimes son 1 likes adventure, son 2 likes shopping. Then how do we balance that? These are things that we have to consider. Okay, but the important thing is we have to respond. We have to make sure that the activities is enjoyable for all lah, right? If not, then we probably have to try to include the other one to make it enjoyable for them. So, for example, my daughter doesn't like to go hiking, but the rest of the family does. right? So we just get her to be involved in choosing the juice stop that we want to drink at the top of the hill, right? So these are basic things that they can do, and they feel that, okay, yeah, at least I have the juice, right? Yeah. So how then we encourage? Okay, so I think this is a little bit similar. Family activities also includes chores lah, okay? Because chores is, yeah, we cannot really run away from it. So take note that especially for teenagers, we have to get them to do chores already. Yeah, because we are setting them up to be independent adults. So we have to involve them. We cannot force it on them. What we do is, during our family meeting or family discussion or whatever, right? We list all the chores that we have to do. Okay? Then we discuss, oh, these are the chores that we have to do every week. Let's talk about how everyone can contribute in some ways. Anybody want to share? This kind of opening liner would be great. Okay? Right? So then, of course, you can also share how important sharing chores are lah, like doing your part, that kind of thing. That's a value added discussion that you can have, right? One of the thing is, because remember, teenagers are just starting to be young adults, right? They're not adults yet. They're not mature. They don't have logical thinking as much as us. We need to take it easy with them. Sometimes we can even let them choose. Okay, yeah, some chores we just choose an easy one. Okay lah, just sweep the floor, easy one. Or vacuum the floor, easy. Compared to I hang the laundry, So get them to choose is okay. Later on, you can increase the difficulty level. Okay, we just wanted to start something first, and then incentivize it, because chores. Who wants to do chores? Mommy, daddy, we also get helper to do, right? Because we also don't like to do it. All right, so we have to be reasonable, right? We have to encourage them to do something on their own, especially if they have helpers. So some of the parents here, families here, is uncommon. I mean, is very common to have helpers. Yeah, we also get them to do a bit of the chores that the helper does, right? So that they also learn, okay, that these are the things that they have to do when they are growing up, right? Okay, so incentivize it, okay, extra privileges, maybe extra pocket money, extra snack, extra favorite drink, whatever it is, right? Okay. Right, moving on to the next ingredient, which is on healthy lifestyle. Now, healthy lifestyle we are talking here is really good personal hygiene, organized, being tidy, having, being able to finish homework timely, exercise, very important, eating well, right? Having good sleep hygiene. Yeah, okay. Now, why developing healthy habits is important? Because research has shown that habits that are formed when they are young, in childhood or in adolescence, actually persist into adult life, okay? And it really impact how they are going to be as young adults, right? And it's going to impact how they are in relationships as well, okay? So that's why habits are very important. You need to start early. And the question is, how are we going to encourage our teenager to adopt a healthy lifestyle? First question, mommy, daddy, are we adopting healthy lifestyles as well? Are we doing all the things that I just mentioned? Good sleep hygiene. Are we exercising? Are we eating well? Ensuring 2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day? Are we doing any of that? Are we making sure that we also set time for work and for play? Yeah. So ask yourself these questions. You don't have to share with me, but you have to ask yourself, be honest in your assessment. Okay. So, right. So we have to be clear. Only after we ask ourselves this question, right, then we can then expect healthy lifestyle on our teenagers lah. Okay. Such as sleeping on time, sleeping early, right? And then we also need to know, like, okay, we talk about sleep hygiene, example. Okay, what time is a good time? We cannot expect our teenagers. Like right now, my daughter is sleeping at 8:30. Okay, but if I have a teenager, I cannot expect my teenager to sleep at 8:30. Impossible. They will sleep later. But how long? 11 o'clock? Is it reasonable time? 12 o'clock? Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing, All right, so we have to take note lah. Sometimes it's good to have conversations with other parents. That's how you find out also, right? I have a parent who does that. He said like screen time every day is like 30 minutes, 45 minutes tops. Then talk to other teenager, other parents, then he adjusted it accordingly, right? Yeah. So another thing is that what we need to do is we need to ask ourselves, okay, am I being reasonable with my expectations on my teenager? Or am I expecting too much? These are good questions, right? Then if I don't expect this, how is it going to impact our teenager's life later on? For example, if I allow to still sleep late, wow, how is it going to affect my teenager later on? As you know, as the studies get harder, you mean going to sleep later until 2 a.m. To study, no, right? Okay. Then again, model it because they take reference from us. Okay. And then we get them involved in setting up certain routines. Like for example, if let's say we want them to sleep early, we ask them, okay, so what do you think about sleeping early? What time is good time? Of course, you have the answer in your brain, but you still ask them for their opinion. Okay. Have a discussion on establishing routines because this is the routine for them. Okay. All right. One thing is that you have to also be mindful. Sometimes they give you routines that is unreasonable. So you also need to take note of that. Okay, right? Okay, that's one idea. Yeah, but I'm thinking, what do you think about this? And you share. Okay, your thoughts about it, and then why you think it's important. The why is always important. Okay, yeah. Why I think sleeping at 10 o'clock is important versus sleeping at 12 midnight is because research have shown that if you sleep late, then it's going to affect your metabolic rate. And you know, if your metabolic rate is affected, right, your body is how you eat, your body might grow. You have to tell them statistics because their brain likes all those things. Okay, all right. So the rule of thumb, 2 to 3 habits to start because it's easier for your teenager to commit to. And if they are doing well, if they are starting to adopt some healthy lifestyle, they are eating just one fruit after dinner, praise them already. Okay, if they are combing their hair, taking a bit more longer time to comb their hair, don't say, wow, you take so long to comb your hair so short, you comb for what? Don't say this kind of thing. Say like, hey, I see you're really taking effort to keep yourself neat, and you walk away. Something like that. All right, now the 5th ingredient is being reliable. Okay, now to be responsible individuals, now we probably need someone, we need, the teenager actually need to be reliable, right? That's how they be responsible. Okay, and we love reliable people, right? Correct or not? Now, can I ask a question here? Parents, how many of you can trust your teenager fully? Like I would say maybe 90%. Sorry, 90%. Wow, you guys are very good at, you're right. I think you're using the chat function very actively. That's great. Okay. Yeah. Okay, but how many of you actually can trust your teenagers 90%? Yes? Yes? Okay. Right? You feel that you really can trust, you have, your teenager is reliable. Some of you say no. Okay. So not 90%. How about maybe 60% or 50%? You can trust your teenager so. Okay. Wow, I love the parents who's very honest and yeah, you are very good at assessment skills. I will trust until proven wrong. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's a very good mantra. Yeah, I'll trust until proven wrong. Yes. 85%, 80%. Great. Okay, so still very high, and that's good, because we want to be able to trust our youths, right? We want to trust them because we will worry less, right? And then we won't ask so many questions because we trust them. We trust that they have that good judgment in them, right? And then the best thing is that when they ask us for certain things, we are likely to comply. Our life also not difficult, right? So yes, being trusting to our teenager has its perks because if they are reliable, why not, right? But if they are not reliable, that's the problem, right? We cannot trust them. We have more questions. We always corner them and ask them things. And this is how our relationship with them will suffer. Okay? And yeah. So then the question is, how do we encourage our teenager to be more reliable? Again, model it. Yeah. How to model reliability? When we say we do, we will do. This is actually one of my core values. What you say, you do. Because promise is gold. And I have it pasted up on the wall. Yeah. Because my word is gold. Yeah, especially our word is gold, right? So especially when you give your word to your teenager, right, you have to honor it because teenager becomes experts at pointing out your mistakes. That's right, right? So this is the important thing that you should take note, right? The teenagers, they will take us as references. So we have to make sure we honor whatever we say. State our expectations very clearly. Don't assume that they know the drill, right? For example, we want to set our teenagers for success. Let's say the curfew issue. Okay. Or maybe let's say gadget. Gadget is my favorite because always got problem, right? Okay. Let's say they stop gadget at 8 o'clock. Okay. Already do family agreement, already know 8 o'clock. If don't follow, got consequence, Okay. 8 o'clock. You also, wow, mommy, daddy stand by. 7:30 already stand by. Okay. Okay. Don't just stand by outside. Remind from your teenager. Hey, when you are walking casually inside, hey, you know what we say about the gadgets at 8 o'clock, yeah? Walk away. That's it. Then we will say whatever, or it's okay. Whatever it is, just close one ear. The point is, you want to just from them. Okay, you want to set them up for success. And you want them to keep the commitment, because every commitment that they keep is a step up towards success. And then when they finally do it, we praise them. Hey, you managed to follow through what you said. Wow, okay, good job. That's it. All right, praise. All right. Now, let's say they don't now. Okay, let's say they don't, then, well, okay, it's likely that they don't, because it's very hard for them to be reliable after just the first instance. You have to, instead of just like cornering them and, going into scolding mode, okay, just ask them lah. Okay, you know what? We already agreed on this matter, right? And we talked about this during during that time, right? So I wonder what actually happened. May I hear from you? Oh no, I want to hear. Never ask question. I want to hear from you. What was difficult? Yeah. Okay. Or ask them, what do you think? That you want to do differently about this thing. How can I help you to keep to the commitment that you have made? Yeah. Ask them all these questions. Okay. Open-ended questions are not very. Oh, you give them a 15-minute reminder. One of the parents actually said, yeah. Okay. Sorry, distracted. But yes. So always remember to ask them open-ended questions, because this is actually the basic of safe discussion. Okay. Now there are two ways to respond. Let's watch this assertive parents.
Communicating well with your teen is about establishing trust and a foundation for mutual respect. Let's look at some scenarios that show both the wrong and right way to communicate with your teen.
Really? You're an hour late. Now the post office is closed.
I just forgot, okay?
You're so irresponsible. What's wrong with you?
I just forgot, okay?
You're grounded.
You're so unfair.
The father was worried and scared that something had happened to his son. That fear and anger was directed toward his teen in an unproductive way. It's okay to be upset in this situation, but dumping those feelings on his son won't help him from being late in the future. For a more productive conversation, frame the exchange with I statements that explain reasoning and fosters a two-way communication.
Hey, son.
Hey,
I was worried about you. We agreed that you'd be home an hour ago since I needed to use the car. When I didn't hear from you, I thought something bad might have happened.
sorry, I was at Sean's house. We were all hanging out, and I didn't realize that it was so late until I got in the car to come home and saw the time.
Listen, I'm glad you're okay. But why didn't you call when you saw what time it was?
I don't know. I guess that I knew I messed up.
Yeah. It's human to lose track of time, especially when you're having fun. Mistakes happen, but part of growing up is keeping your agreements. I need to know that if we agree on driving privileges and a time that you have to be home, you're going to stick to it. And you get that, right? So, since you were late, your weekday curfew is going to be 6 o'clock for the next month.
Really? A whole month?
If you can show that you can come home on time, we can talk about moving it back to 7 o'clock. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay. Right. So I love this video. I think it's a very good distinction between what is a positive and not so positive communication style. And I think one of the things that I love about this is that the why matters, because the reason why sometimes we as parents are reactive, right, is because we are concerned, right? It's always coming from the place of concern, right? So we have to tell them why we are concerned, and that's what the parent actually started with, right? So being assertive is just somewhere between being timid, I would say, versus being aggressive, right? It's in the middle point lah. Okay. So using I statement, I is always a very good start, which leads me to the last ingredient for this seminar, which is being assertive. Now, we all want to be assertive, okay? Because when we are assertive, we are able to Be like that parent, smile and say, you know, son, you told me that you're gonna, I thought we have an agreement, you know, very, very calm, but also very firm, right? And we also want to make sure that we are very clear, right? That our rights are not ignored and they are not abused, because this is something that teenagers tend to do if they feel that we are not clear with our expectations on them, okay? And then another thing is that, well, the best thing is that in relationship, we need to relate, right? And we cannot create that hostile environment. So when you use I statement or when you are assertive, you don't create hostile environment. Or you don't create, you avoid conflict, which is the best. And your teenager will be more responsive to you. Okay? Now, yep, these are the reasons why being assertive is very important. But for teenagers, if your teenagers is very assertive, they are able to be very firm, but also very calm in difficult situation, able to express their what they need, they are able to get that need met. For example, they don't know, they get lost in school, new environment, new school, new teachers, don't know certain thing, get, you know, confused by certain, the timetable or whatever, right? They can actually say out, they are assertive enough to say it out, and they will get the help that they need, and then their self-esteem won't be affected. Imagine if the child is not assertive, keep to themselves, and then continue getting lost, wow, the self-esteem also will dwindle, okay? So that's why being assertive actually get them whatever that they need, also get them to be able to stand up for themselves, avoid being bullied, right? And also they don't have to be aggressive lah, because they have a very good emotional control, right? Because they're using their words instead of their hands. Okay? Now, how then we help our teenager become more assertive? Okay? Now, we have to model again. How do we model being assertive? How you are interacting with your family members, with your spouse, right? This is how you show you are assertive. Okay? So, and also sometimes when you talk to the random auntie downstairs, or the shopkeeper, or the cashier, all these are ways for you to model being assertive. Okay? Right? And it's very important for us to take note of this, because they are watching us like a video camera. They are recording us, and they are learning. Okay? So, it's very important for parents to take note if your children or if your teenagers are being assertive. We have to let them know. Okay? Like for example, they tell them you cook a very nice hearty dish, and then they say, oh, I don't like this dish, man. Okay, it sucks. Okay, it's not nice at all. Sorry for the word, but yes, you know, they always use this word. Yeah, okay. You can say, oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Darren, for expressing your opinions on the food. Well, I worked very hard to prepare it, and I appreciate your thoughts about it. But I do appreciate if you can use a nicer word next time. Okay. You acknowledge what they say. Okay, you don't say like, why I spend so much time cooking this dish, and you say like that. Wow, my heart. You don't need to go emotional on them. Okay. Now, some of the teenagers may have adopted some style of communication, be it passive or aggressive. It's okay. We just need to prompt them to be assertive. Okay, so the example just now was actually aggressive lah. Okay, all right. And then another thing is that sometimes they are naturally some children or youths, they might not be assertive naturally, because they are not they don't really do it last time when they're young, when it's still developing, and then when they're teenager, they are still growing this skill lah. Because assertiveness is actually a skill. So we have to help them up. We have to practice with them. Sometimes we even have to give them the words. Okay, so your teenager one day from school, you know, Sec 1, oh yeah, my friend don't want to do this work with me, don't want to be part of the same group with me, don't want to be in the same group as me, sorry. Yeah, okay, then what would you like to say to your friend? You give them the words. You ask this question. I don't know what to say. That's why I don't know. Okay, all right, well, so and so. I would like, maybe you can say things like, well, you can let your friend know about how you feel. Well, so and so, I would like to, you know, I see that you have chosen a different group, and that made me feel what? Okay, so give them the words so that they can use it on their friend. Okay, right? It's good that you have some pre-prepared scripts for such situation. Okay, so that when your teenager comes to you, you're not lost. Okay, so you have a few things to pluck out every time. I always have a script. Yeah. So that I don't talk too much. I tend to overtalk. Yeah. Now, lastly, assertive communication does not come over time. So you always have to practice it with your teenager. Okay. And that means, for example, how do you practice it? You go out dining, have your dinner together, you sit at a restaurant, hey, son, you go and order for us. We would like this. Then your son order lah. Okay, things like that. Okay, now, the last bit I want to share with you is about dealing with teenagers' emotions. Now, we talk about just now about the brain. Teenagers are emotionally driven because of their amygdala. Not their fault, their brain fault. Okay, so when things don't go their way, they are going to be emotional. They are going to have some tantrums. They are going to be emotional lah. Okay, and we know this. We have seen this in our teenagers a lot of times. And research found that, especially in your child group age, the adolescents, it is the most impulsive, okay, and it's the most emotional, okay. And so we have to know that, okay, this is normal, okay. Start from there, okay. Now, when they are able to, okay, so when they come to you and they are like an emotional, state, you stop and give them the attention. How? Don't go, oh no, come, let me give you a hug. No, sometimes teenagers don't like that. So they are going to be adults, so I see. Just a simple pat on the back. Okay. Well, I'm noticing something here. Stop and give your attention. Listen. Quiet. Listen. Okay. If they share with you, okay. Go to step 3. Summarize, acknowledge the emotion. I know how frustrating it must be that you don't get what you want. I know how you must have felt. I can imagine. Don't say, I know how it feels. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you really don't know. And sometimes it frustrates them that you say you know. Okay? Yeah, so just say, I can imagine how that would make you feel, to be in such a state. That's it. Okay? You must feel name the emotion. They will always say angry. Actually, underneath anger, there is a lot of emotions. Anger is just the secondary feeling, but the primary feeling could be shame, belittle, guilt, helplessness, anxiety, whatever it is. A lot of other emotions are in play here. Okay, so take note of what emotions. Go and download the anger iceberg. Google anger iceberg, and then you can see all the emotions under the anger iceberg. Okay, all right. Don't be too quick to solve the problem. What you can do, especially if the teenager is just angry, then sit down, fuming. You want to be there, right? So you just sit with them, be quiet, and then just say, I can see that you didn't really have a good day. You have a hard time in school today. Well, then they keep quiet. Okay, you can sit down with them, sit down quietly, just mirror them. Okay, then they will know that they are being attended to without you getting into their space, right? Okay, so then sit with them and say, okay, well, you don't want to talk about it, it's okay. You don't want to talk about it right now, it's fine. Well, know that if you need me, I'll be in the living room, and I'm just a call away. Okay. Take this time to just calm yourself down. Then you walk away, leave the room, let them do whatever that they need to do. Because most of the time, some teenagers, they don't sit, or the problem with children in general, with what we learn in play therapy, right, is they don't sit in the emotion long enough to go through that emotion and to experience what comes out at the end of it. They usually go into a reaction. And chances are, the parents actually come in and or the adults come in to solve that emotion or to solve that problem. So the child never learned to sit through the emotion or to sit it out. Because if they are given the opportunity to sit it out, sometimes they can actually work out the emotion. Yeah, they can actually come up to a conclusion on how to problem solve whatever that they are facing. Okay, so that's what we want. Okay, so if let's say they do come with you, they do open up, they tell you the problem, then you go into problem solving with them by asking open-ended question. What would you like me to help you with? What would you like to do? Or what do you think about, what will you do differently? Now that this have happened, what would you want to do differently? Okay, or things like that, open-ended question. Now, if still, and you should know your teenager, if they are still very angry, okay, that's it. Take a break. You don't engage anymore. You disengage. Take a time out and say things like, okay, hey, I see that you're really angry. I'm going to back out now. You need to go and take a time out for 5 minutes, go do whatever you need to calm yourself down, have a nice drink, take a shower, whatever. And I'll come back to visit you again in the next 5 minutes, okay? Shall we do that? That's it. And then they probably won't answer you. You leave, but you come back 5 minutes later. Both of you take time out, okay? It is a very important slide that deals with the emotion, and I think it's in your tip sheet, okay? So you might want to just take note of that. Okay, so well, we've already reached the end. So this is the overview of all the changes that your teenagers are going to go through or already went through or going through. Okay, and some of the things that we need to remember. Remember that we are all humans. We have to be tolerant. We have to be accepting, and we have to forgive them and ourselves. Okay, we all make mistakes. Apply the 80-20 rule. Okay, that we can be 80% perfect parent, 20% make mistakes. Okay, and be sorry about it. All right. If let's say you are, parenting with a partner, right? Remember, consistency is key. Yes, I have a question just now. I'm just going to address it quickly. If let's say we are modeling, one parent is not modeling and the other parent is modeling, okay, this is going to cause confusion in your teenager because your teenager will take the easy option always because humans are like that. I will take the easy way out. Why take the difficult way out? I will choose the parent that's modeling the easy approach lah. Correct? Yeah. If being assertive is difficult, I just snatch lah. I get what I want faster. Okay. So teenager operate this way, humans operate this way. Okay. So the best is consistency. You have to back each other up. Okay. That means mommy, daddy, if you're not consistent, sit down, have your own family discussion, talk about it. How to be more consistent. So one of the things that I think is helpful, right, is you need to know your triggers. My husband, very triggered in the toilet. Cannot. Children don't want to brush teeth, trigger, So I will come in to do that part. So we need to back each other up. All right. Now, if you're a single parent, not to worry. There's always support out there. Get help. The best is to get people who are like-minded like you. Get in contact with a mother or father or parent that has a teenager so that you can probably share notes. All right. So with that, I probably want to just do a bit of a summary. This is what it takes to be responsible teenagers. Okay. All right. And I want to ask you, for today, okay, if you can just show me, maybe we can launch a quick poll, right? What would be one of the key ingredients that you would like to do, okay, after today's seminar? Which one do you want to try first? Or if you have already tried it, you just want to keep on doing it, sharpen that skill. Okay, answers are coming in. Lots of you are saying, yeah, taking part in family decision making. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think maybe it's not really in our culture to sit down and talk about it, but we should try to start, yeah? Yep. Okay, I think all the parents are, well, some are still saying, responding. Okay, we can just end the poll and just share the results. I think it's a very good mix of responses. You all want to try different strategies, yes? Okay, so, yeah, you can see, right, the highest is what, 26%, which is, family decision making. Yeah, because how important it is for children or youth to practice making decisions, because that's how the prefrontal cortex actually gets sharpened. The more you practice, the better it gets. Being respectful and considerate, a big amount of you also feels that that's very important. Yes, and I agree so. Okay, and then, healthy lifestyle and being assertive is also high on the scale here. Okay, all right, thank you so much, mommies and daddies, for sharing this. Okay, and okay, so if that's all, I'm just going to quickly stop that. Okay, all right, so then last key notes here is just make time with your teenager a priority. You need to spend time with them to know them. All right, select one thing at a time to change. Don't need to be so don't overwhelm yourself. Okay, there must be a balance between the push and pull. These are some recommended books. John Gottman and Gary Chapman, they are great writers, they're actually great researchers as well. I've read the Gary Chapman book myself, and I think it's a very good content. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, go ahead and get them. You can just borrow them from the library. Okay, so we'll take a 30 seconds break. So for parents who just really need a stretch, so please go ahead and take that stretch. Those who need the toilet, this is the good time for you to do that. Okay, myself, I also need to drink a bit of water, so don't mind me. Yeah, thank you. Okay, remember, stretch your arms. Okay, healthy lifestyle, stretching. First thing you do in the morning when you wake up, always must stretch, because that's the best time for you to really get your body to be, to wake up. Yeah, all right. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, we are going to jump into the next seminar, also quite heavy in content. I try to make it as concise as I can. Yeah. And I think the parents here, you guys are very responsive lot. You are like just sending a lot of messages in the chat. Yeah, so sorry, I can't really read them all at one time when I'm presenting. So, but please just go ahead and just send the text anyway, okay? All right. So, ready to go? Okay, one last stretch. The best is your shoulder, and to stand up and stretch your legs, Okay. Okay, so welcome to Seminar 2, Raising Competent Teenager. Not to worry, we will also send you the tip sheet on this content. Okay, waiting for this one parent to just log in. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is where we talk about school. Okay, how important it is for them to thrive in the school environment. And because they are already in secondary school, we know that the teenage journey gets more complicated now because they're going to spend more time in school, they have more enrichment classes inside and outside school, right? They have more assignments, more difficult things. The content is more harder to grasp. They need a little bit more brain power now. Yeah, and on top of this, there's also all those three changes: biological changes, emotional changes, relationship changes, right? And this can be good and bad, right? So these are all the things that your teenager is exposed to, right? So, and the best part, on top of all these things, right, the stresses that they already face, this is your teenager, they're already facing all these things. They also have this expectation. You are already in secondary school, you still don't know, or you should know better. Why are you asking all these things? Right? So these are all the things that your teenagers are experiencing, right? So how are we when we are parenting our teenagers now? When how many of us actually see in our teenager this lack of ownership? Can I just get a simple like yes, no, yes or no? Right? You see that they actually don't really own the problem. They tend to usually they don't own the problem. Looks like they blame others. Or they're like, hey, I got this problem. You try solve for me. Can you just give me? I tell you already. Can you just solve for me? Can you just tell me what to do? Yeah. Oh, lots of yes, So they really don't own the problem, They start blaming others. Okay, not so motivated to solve their own. Okay, thank you for your honesty, Yeah, and it's actually very true, So what do? We come in and save them, Right? We tell them what to do, right? What's best. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, this is actually the normal thing to do, because as parents, right, we already have this logical reasoning, very apt prefrontal cortex, right, very developed, right? So we tend to do logical thinking, and we do the logical thinking for everyone around us, right? And that's our job actually as parents. It is to prepare them, so it is to guide them. But what we must be mindful of is not to have too much of a fixed view on how to solve problems or what we think is best for them. Okay, so we have to try to include some of their ideas around how to solve their problems. But I know sometimes they give you problem and then they ask to solve because they don't know how to solve. Then you have no choice but to solve it, correct? Yeah. So then start say like, oh, I have an idea on how I think we can work around this. But I want to hear from you first. You throw that on them. And then you look at them, you give them some time. Okay? Of course, the condition must be that this is not a time-sensitive problem. If it's a time-sensitive problem, you probably have to come in with a solution. But if you can wait, then ask them. Okay? Let's say your teenager comes to you with a problem. I want to be a full-time gamer. I got a parent, actually, the child says this. Right? Then how? We know that as parents, right, we cannot allow our children to have excessive screen time because it's really bad for the brain, right? A lot of research have shown this already. Then how? We have to keep the big picture in mind, right? We cannot ridicule our children because Triple P says not to do that. We cannot say, that's a nonsense idea. I don't think that's possible. What are you thinking? Or you can say things like, I don't think that's a good idea. Programmer, you don't really earn a lot. You need to find a better job, a proper job. Can you say all these things? No. Okay, don't say all these things, okay? Because remember I say the youth brain is actually developing. Whatever that they are saying, right, is just emotionally driven. So it might be said on a whims or spontaneously, right? So why are we triggered by such statements? What we can say is, well, wow, okay, I hear that you actually want to be a programmer. Wow, let's hear how that would look like. What's the plan here? Wow, I really want to know a bit about that. Yeah, how do we actually, how would a pro gamer actually earn a decent income? Yeah. Okay. So you want to relate with your teenager. The problem is that the reason why some teenagers don't come to parents to talk about their problem is because the parents cannot relate with the teenager. And so the relationship is not there. Right? Yeah. So so something to think about. All right. So don't be too quick to jump into like what's best lah. Right. Now let's watch a short video about what
Are you doing everything for your child, taking away their ability to develop problem-solving skills and straining your relationship with them? Research suggests that when parents constantly intervene, solve problems, and make decisions for their teens, it undermines their belief in their own ability to handle challenges. Adolescents with over-involved parents tend to have higher levels of anxiety, which often is due to the lack of opportunities to develop coping skills and the fear of making mistakes. They cannot make decisions and find it harder to bounce back from setbacks. Teenagers also feel frustrated or resentful if they perceive their parents as intrusive and controlling. So the next time around you find yourself filling a void in your life by overparenting and controlling your child, remember, you're widening the gap between you and your child. Share to raise awareness.
Okay, so that's the idea of overparenting, why we shouldn't be doing that. Okay, and especially when we are starting secondary school, right? They're going to major exams or whatever it may be. The teenagers are going to be anxious. Okay, and the more they're anxious, the more parents are anxious, and we tend to be very overprotective, and we want to do overparenting, or maybe we don't even know we are doing it lah. We just happen to do it. Okay, so it's very common for us to fall into this trap. Okay, now one of the things that we can remember that when we give our children, okay, let's say you are a family that don't really give too much attention when they are behaving well. It's not natural for you to pick up on those stuff lah. Okay, right? But suddenly when they are very stressed, starting secondary one, you suddenly show a lot of concern. You come in and you ask, hey, what happened here? What do you think? You're showing a lot of attention on that behavior. What we are doing is we are accidentally rewarding the teenager for being anxious. And this will be mentioned in your tip sheet, okay, about accidentally rewarding. If not, you can Google. All right. When we accidentally reward a teenager for being anxious, they know that, they are getting this attention. It makes them feel that, okay, I'm getting more attention from my mom by being anxious. Probably I have to show a bit more anxiety on certain matters next time. This is what they are learning. Okay, so what parents need to do is basically take a bit of a step back, right? Especially in stressful situations, so that the teenager can learn to step up. But of course, you also need to know your teenager. If they need a bit more guiding hand, you can give them that support. Like all the previous things that I mentioned earlier, give them the words, practice with them, give them open-ended questions, like what will you do differently, those kind of things. Okay, the whole idea is we want them to have a partnership with us, but we also want to empower them with what they can do better. We want to empower them with certain skills lah. Like, hey, you can do it. Yeah, if you are facing this problem, where do you think you can get some help from? School? Okay. Who do you think in school can help you? I ask my friend. Okay. Well, how can your friend help you? What do you think your friend will do? Then they will share lah. Yeah. So all these things is very important to do. Okay. Now, this is a child development theory. Eric Erickson, we use it a lot in social work and also in play therapy, because we want to let you know that children, as the child progresses with age, they go through different crises. And one of the crises that adolescents face from 12 to 18 years old is that they ask themselves this question: who am I? Who can I be? How can I contribute? Okay. Now, let's say it's successful. They are able to answer this question. Identity is formed. Very strong sense of identity. They know who they are. They know how to contribute. If, let's say, they are not successful, they get into a real confusion. They feel uncertain about their place in this world, in this society. That's where all the other mental health issues come in. Depression, withdrawal, social withdrawal, cutting, all these things. Okay, so this is just a theory, but I love this theory. It's very simple to understand. Let's say, put a child in example. Maybe your Amir, okay, just started secondary one. Of course, new schooler, not familiar with curriculum, new teachers, very overwhelmed with the subject, so many things to think about, right? And then also socially, have to make new friends, and then not sure who to approach, how to say hi, that kind of thing. Now, the question in Amir's mind would be, okay, am I smart enough? How will I be seen by others? Will people like me? Okay, how can I contribute to be a better classmate? These are all the questions that your teenager Amir will ask himself, right? And then Amir will come home feeling very stressed, upset. He will be withdrawn, and then he will then feel very paiseh to talk about it to his parents, right? So he will be very quiet and all that. Then what he will do is he will go into comfort, find something of comfort for him. So he will go, maybe he likes gaming, and then he has friends that he know in the gaming world. So he will go into that lah, because that's how we are, right? Humans are social creatures, right? We want to go into place that we feel accepted. So he will go into that. Now, what the parent must do, okay, to help Amir go through this process is, okay, well, go into a open communication by asking, hey, you know what, I see that you are more quiet these days. Yeah, I wonder, is there anything that you want to share, you want to talk about? Or is there anything that was interesting? Casually you ask, is there anything interesting that you picked up today in school? Yeah, something like that. Or if he's doing well in something, you praise, you give achievement. Hey, I know it's a new environment, but I can see that you are trying your best. That's it. Okay? Yeah. Before he goes to school, right? So this is how parents can give support. In school, sometimes school have some structures, right, where they put a senior, I don't know whether secondary school does it, like a friendly mentor, right, to children, to those youths who need a bit more help. Yeah, something to highlight to the school if your youth actually need this help, right? Or maybe it's a CCA that your child can continue doing, because this is where they get a sense of belonging and friendships are already there, right? So they get this constant consistency in their life. Okay, so this is how a child can be supported in the identity formation phase. Okay, now role confusion is okay. Let's say Amir already faced the same thing, right? But don't get any support. Amir will then struggle with transition. Okay, he will then have a decline in self-esteem. He will not talk to anyone, or he will withdraw. He will then go into other problems like school truancy, or he will start to withdraw from his friends and then think by himself, that kind of thing. That's where depression and mental health issues can come in. Okay, so that's the problem. They don't have this support that they need. Okay, so that's why parental, school, and community support is actually very important for teenagers because of this phase that they are into. Does that make sense? Yeah. Child development theory is theory lah, but you have to put it into your own example, then it can kind of make sense. I hope that's not too much. All right. And in this news article, actually, it says not to overparent, and by not overparenting, you actually let your teenager grow some important skills. And one of the excerpt here actually says that this parent, really forgot to do the hairdo for the daughter in the morning. Because she's feeling very tired. She didn't want to wake up to comb the child's hair, to do the hair. Then found out that the 15-year-old can now do things on her own, like tying her own hair in the morning, right? So it's like she's thinking that, oh yeah, see, my lazy parenting actually helps the child to grow. Okay, moving on to the actual content of Triple P, okay? All right, so we talk about the 6 ingredients. Now, let me know, I'm just going to launch a quick poll here to hear from parents, right? Which are the 3 ingredients that you think, or which is the ingredient that you think is most important to help a teenager build competency? Because we are raising competent teenagers, right? Which one do you think, okay, if I do this more, I will raise competent teenager. All right. So maybe we can launch the poll and see whether we can get some responses. Okay. Do you think that developing self-discipline is important in competent teenagers? Or do you think being a good problem solver? Or do you think having routines will make teenager more competent because they know what to do? Or do you think being involved in school activity, they will learn skills like how to take leadership role, how to care for another team member when the team member is down, yeah? Or following school rules, or having supportive friends. Yeah, sometimes having supporting friends, another competent friend, they also learn from example. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to end the poll. Okay, and we're going to share the result. Okay, so developing self-discipline is actually, developing self-discipline is actually the highest here, followed by problem solving. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, thank you so much for your responses. Let's find out what a little bit, what each of these consists of. So, developing self-discipline. Okay, these are the common expectations of parents with teenager, right? We all want them to be self-disciplined. But what is self-discipline? Is it easy to get? sometimes for us also, we are still trying to get into that self-discipline mode. Okay, so now to say that a teenager actually has self-discipline, it means that they are responsible for making things happen. And I believe earlier, a lot of you say that they don't really take ownership of problems, right? So maybe this is one aspect that need to work on a bit more. Okay, and they are able to being someone with self-discipline means that they are also able to make things happen for themselves, not relying on a helper, a mother, a father, grandparent to do or remind them. And I know some of the parents here do remind your teenagers to do certain things. That's okay. Okay, but over time you have to phase that out as well, because then they have to remember on their own. Okay. Now, so this includes goal setting, basically asking themselves what they want to achieve at the end of the day, and then asking themselves, okay, what do they need to do to get there? Okay, so if they want a certain grade in piano, okay, does it mean that I have to spend 30 minutes at piano every day? Okay, that's self-management. How much time they put in to get the output. All right, becoming self-sufficient, basically not relying on other people to overcome certain things. I don't need my parents to remind me or prompt me to do my revision. I can automatically do. All right, developing self-confidence, of course, that comes as part of self-discipline. You know, you have your targets, you have your routine. Naturally, you are very confident about yourself. Okay, and then also self-evaluation, right? Maybe being able to evaluate what you have done well, what you have done not so well, so that you can improve on further. So these are things that you need to know when you are someone with self-discipline. Okay, now. Why it's important? Because we are preparing our teenager to be independent adults, right? And they need to know that they need to take responsibility, right? So this is a case study, okay? Let's say that, I think we don't really have time for this case study, but just do a quick read, okay? Like, let's say this, okay, so this is a single dad, has 2 children, 14 and 10 years old. When they are younger, they are doted by their grandparents. The son doesn't take initiative at schoolwork, often misses handing in homework. The form teacher also says he frequently is in his own world and he keeps to himself, loner . Okay, and that feels very stressed, having to push him daily for waking up in the morning and doing his homework in the evening. Okay, so maybe I'll just answer this case study, okay, but you guys can just jump in as well. If you're the father, if you're this dad, right, what would be helpful here would be really having a family discussion, right, to highlight what the problem is. Okay, so I see that, that you are, you are waking up late, you are missing handing over your homeworks, and I want to know what's that about. Okay, then you ask for the thoughts, hear from him what was the difficulty. Okay, and then ask, okay, so I hear that this is a difficulty for you. How can daddy help you? Okay, and he say, okay, yeah, maybe you can help me, remind me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, write all of those things down in an agreement. I think you guys actually do agreement. Some of you actually said that you do write down agreements and contracts. That's a good start. So continue with that and say that, okay, if you break the agreement, these are the consequences. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. But if you do keep to this arrangement for 3 weeks, this is the reward. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So these are the things that you can consider doing. Okay. Now, how then we develop self-discipline? Okay. So this is actually a short video clip. Let's just do a quick watch.
How did he do it? The first big thing for Lucas was a strong reason why. When his mother passed, he had a North Star to become the man of the house and take care of his younger sister. It was literally do or die. Studies showed that a strong motivating reason why allows people to tap into willpower reserves that they might otherwise not have been able to. This reminds me of those movies where you see the boxer down to his last bits of energy in the final round, but then he has a flashback, a powerful memory of why he's doing this. Perhaps winning against all odds in memory of someone close to him who passed away. Studies also show that a strong motivating reason why may only act as a buffer or a temporary solution to increase willpower, and that willpower still does have a finite limit. In our example, Lucas had a strong motivating reason for why he was trying to become more responsible, but that doesn't mean that reason can motivate him to do an infinite amount of things for an infinite amount of time. Say he tried to work at a part-time job, take care of his sister, try to get a perfect 4.0 GPA, and learn to play the guitar all at once. It would be difficult, if not impossible, regardless of how strong his motivating reason why was. But in our case, Lucas started by focusing on one task only, which was work. He went to work every day, Once that became a habit, he directed his willpower and self-discipline onto another singular activity, which was cooking, followed by school, and that's the key. To be wise with how we spend our self-discipline and to use it on singular activities and turn them into habits before moving on to another activity. The first habit could have been as simple as drinking water every day or making his bed every morning. When an activity becomes a habit, it drains a lot less willpower. Lucas also faced a dilemma that many people trying to be disciplined encounter: peer pressure. His friends represented a temptation into his old life, an easier life requiring a lot less responsibility. There were two reasons Lucas was able to overcome this dilemma. He had a strong reason why, and he planned for temptation. In fact, he used a very specific technique known as the if-then technique. He had planned that if his friends asked him to go out and party, then he would tell them that he had to tutor his sister and cook dinner. This was a pre-planned decision of self-control and avoided him having to exercise willpower to resist the temptation. This is a great strategy to use when we anticipate that there will be times when temptations will arise and our willpower might be low. It's an automatic and pre-planned response to a temptation. Studies show that practicing self-discipline increases self-discipline in subsequent acts. It's like a muscle. By finding his strong reason why, developing his discipline through singular activities, and pre-planning for temptations, Lucas was able to become more disciplined and overcome his adversities.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is just a short video clip okay, of how Lucas was. Okay. So I guess what I picked from the earlier video is just how important habits are, because once habits they are formed, right? It is very organic. You don't really need to think about it already. It becomes habitual. You just do it without thinking. It's like autopilot right? And that's how it actually becomes discipline. It leads to self-discipline. Right? And one of the things that might be helpful is having routines like, so starting with a morning routine, after school routine, or weekend routine. Okay, so we'll talk a bit more about this later on in the third ingredient. Okay, but there is a Hallmark study in 2009. It shows that, I know it's a bit dated, but roughly that habits are developed in a range of 18 to 254 days, about a year. But the average is actually 66 days. So give it about 3 months, okay, of doing the certain one thing, all right, can actually become a habit. But the key word is consistency. Okay, all right. So how then we promote self-discipline? We give them opportunities, okay, all right. It has to be, because the thing is, self-discipline has to be developed over time. Therefore, we need to give them a chance to make decisions for themselves. So let's say the habit that you want to develop is to put the dirty clothes in the laundry basket. I don't know why this is my only example, but I think it's relevant because teenagers like to just throw their dirty clothes everywhere, and then they just don't bother about it. So we have to be very mindful not to give the solutions too quickly. Okay, we prompt them. I think a lot of the parents here always prompt your teenager, right? So do the same thing. Prompt them the likely consequences for this behavior or for this decision. Okay, hey Sarah, if you are piling your clothes on the floor, you're not putting it in a dirty laundry basket, it means that I won't be able to wash them on time. Let's talk about it. Okay, and then or best, you just ask them, are we leaving them here for the whole week, or are we doing your wash twice a week? Ask them. Okay, then of course they will say like okay. Then they will think. Then of course, because they're emotional brain, right? They don't really think properly. Then they will say, never mind lah. Just wash end of the week. I don't care. Okay? Then of course, that's not the right answer, right? Then of course, you shouldn't be saying things like, if you don't wash, then you don't have this. You just say, okay, I hear that you have thought about it, and that's your response. Okay, so what's going to happen is like, okay, if you are not washing it, if I'm washing it every week, and then end of the week, that means that some days you'll be wearing your same set of uniform, and I wonder how you feel about that. Or that would also mean that some days you might run out of a certain innerwear. Then are you willing to use your own money to buy that extra singlet? Ask them. Okay, then after that they will start to think again. Okay, then you leave it to them to think about it. Okay, well, if you change your mind, I'm always here to discuss, to take this further. But for now, if you choose to leave this year, remember that you won't have a set of clothes to wear by Thursday or by Friday. Okay, but if you choose to wash it, no problem. Okay, so this is a very important skill. We don't want them to pressure us to do it for them. Okay, and they need to know that whatever decision that they make leads to a consequence lah, and it could be a good one or it could be a bad one. Okay, so that's the idea of promoting self-discipline. We always want them to do it. Okay, so second ingredient, being a good problem solver. Now, I think when our teenager is a good problem solver, it's actually, they become more independent lah, because they have a problem. They will start to think about, okay, how do I approach this? A, B, C, D, E, right? Yeah. And then they are able to then be more confident if they are able to solve it on their own. Yeah. And sometimes if it will be very helpful if the school and the people around them actually promote this. Okay. And that's how they actually can learn this new skill. And actually, being a good problem solver is a bit linked to being self-disciplined as well. Yeah. And one of the good things that you need to know about good problem solving is that it plays an important role in dealing with interpersonal relationship. Yeah. Because when you have a disagreement, and you will definitely come into a disagreement with your teenager, or your teenager with another teenager, they need to know how to kind of like, diffuse the bomb, or they need to know how to kind of deal with the disagreement on their own. And this includes with teachers, with friends, or even with people in the community. Okay? Okay, so what do problem solvers do? Okay, now, we need to know that these are actually the basic steps lah, okay, of problem solving. Now, you can use this format. I think this format is also found in your tip sheet. Yeah, okay, so not to worry. But when your teenager is faced with a certain struggle or challenge, first we need to do is clarify what the problem is. We need to ask them, hey, you know what's the problem here? What it's not about what you think is a problem, it's about what the teenager thinks is a problem, because it can be two different things. Right? So let's say the problem here that we are talking about is a few of the schoolmates is trying to gang up on me. Okay? So then you set a goal here, or the outcome. Okay, so what is the outcome here? You don't want to be bullied. I don't want to be bullied or get into an argument with them. Okay? Then the next step, okay, all right, so I hear you. All right, let's think of some possible solutions. What do you think might be a good first solution? Okay, I tell the teacher. And then the teacher confront them. Okay, you hear it. Okay, Ken. What will be the next, another solution that you can think of? Okay, or maybe I just avoid them, no? I don't talk to them. I just hang out with other friends. Okay, that sounds reasonable, right? Okay, any other solutions that you can think of? Wow, I want to fight them, oh. Wow, I feel I want to punch your face, example. Okay, Ken. All right, Ken. So you listed 3 solutions. No need to go more than 3. Keep it simple, right? You know, you will have a headache, mommy, daddy. Okay, so just keep it 3. All right, Ken, you listed out 3 possible solutions, which I thought was a very good start. Right, let's think about the consequences of each of these solutions. Okay, what do you think? If you confront the teacher, right? If you were to tell the teacher, right, the teacher will do what? Oh, surely the teacher will confront them all. Then we'll waste time. Then talk. Then end up I also get into trouble. Okay, all right, I hear you. How about the second option about avoiding them? What if you start hanging out with other friends in class? Then your teenager will pause. Okay, yeah, I mean, it will work lah, because I won't be alone ma. So I just ignore them ma. Okay, all right, I hear you. So you won't be alone, you will have some people to be around with lah. How about option 3? You do a confrontation. You really fight and you go punch them. What do you think will happen? Wow, if I fight them, they sure fight back one. Then end up both of us get hurt. All get into trouble. Oh, okay. That's the third option. That's what's going to happen. Everybody injured. Okay. Now, what do you think will work best? After we really listed this out, what do you think will work best? Okay, then we go into selection mode. Okay. Before we go into that, right, mommy and daddy, always ask them to rank. Okay. So what do you think about, which one do you think is more doable or easier for you to do? Or make sense for you, or at least lead to a better outcome or favorable outcome? Oh, okay lah, rank lah. Option 1, option 2, option 3. So he ranks accordingly. Okay, now that you have ranked, right, the highest one that you have ranked is option 2. You rank at 7. What do you think about trying it out? Okay lah, I think I can go and try it out. Okay. Do you have anyone in mind that you're going to approach tomorrow onwards? Okay lah, I can go and approach so and so, like that. Okay, so this is roughly how you can do a bit of a problem solving with your teenager. Okay? And then always remember, we always forget this. Review and revise. Means after they already go and try it out, right? Okay, come back, give them maybe the next day, or not the next day. Usually maybe about like a few days later, 2 to 3 days later. Hey, how's things? You remember you told me about that thing? Yeah. How did it go? Anything you want to share with me? Then they will share. Then you review whether it works or not, don't work, or whether you want to make changes, etc. Okay? All right. Okay, so then again, how do we encourage problem solving? Is practice makes perfect. So we have to practice problem solving by creating opportunities. So when there's a problem that you face when you are maybe driving, then the GPS gone haywire. Oh, okay, wow, you need to also show them how you problem solve lah. Okay, or maybe you can get that. Okay, hey, why don't you look at your phone? Then you read me the map. Something like that, right? Okay. It's okay that for them to give you, okay, remember to always give them opportunities to give you the suggestion, right? Don't come up with one first. So always remember, like, okay, if they keep chochok you, they keep forcing you to come up with one, you can always say, okay, you know what, you come up with one and I'll come up and I'll tell you mine later. Okay, right? And you do not want to always solve their problems, because if you do that, then they won't be able to learn. And remember not to be pressured to solve the problems for them, right? So if the problem is not time sensitive, it's okay to sit on it for a while, or you can just put in some thinking questions, leading questions. Hey, you know, if you have this problem, what do you think will happen if you talk to your friend about it? Oh, well, you don't have to answer me now. Maybe think about it and then tell me later at dinner. Then let them think about it. Okay? Then revisit again. Okay, the third ingredient is establishing routines. Now, I have routines. I think I cannot remember when the time that I don't have a routine. So I really feel routine is very important, but that's me. Routines are really helpful for high-risk situations or high-risk timings where things can go wrong very fast, very quickly. Usually when they are at night or they're going to school, all these things can happen. Okay, now the benefits of for secondary one, some of the routines that they should already be practicing would be all of this. Can I just have some responses from parents here? Do you guys have any routines right now in any of these areas? Yeah? Okay, so some of your parents actually say that you guys have routines. Since 3rd of January, you have routine? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. So actually research have shown that if you have routines set up, right, life will be more predictable. They know what they need to do, what is expected of them. And actually, research have shown that self-confidence and self-esteem is actually linked to having routines, okay, for children and youth lah. All right. Okay, so good that you guys have routine. For those of you who have not had any routines yet, it's okay. Just think about setting one, especially in the area of getting to bed on time. Now, why? Because we always want to inculcate good sleeping habits, because this is what is going to affect us later on when we have our working life. Okay, so the average of a teenager is about 8 hours. Yeah, that's a good time. Okay. So if your teenager is sleeping late because if your teenager is sleeping late because of homework, then this is something that you need to do a family meeting about lah, and let them know, present them with statistics why sleeping late is going to affect them, affect their body, their physical, it's going to harm their brain development as well. Okay. All right. Now, routines actually help teenagers practice independent skills. Like I mentioned earlier, it will be something that is very helpful for them, and it will lead them up for success when they grow older. And yeah, it's a win-win for us, because we don't have to think about reminding them, prompting them, because it becomes natural for them to do, because they know what to do already, right? Routine A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Then 7, 8, 9, 10, they come back home. You don't have to think already, they know. Okay, right? At most you just say, hey, it's 8 o'clock now, what should you be doing? That's it. Okay, so when you repeatedly, in the video Lucas shared earlier, right? When you do things repeatedly, it becomes a habit. So lesser willpower, you are able to do it organically and be successful at it, leading to more motivation lah. Okay, because that's where you feel that, oh, I have this, I'm doing this quite well. I want to do, I think I can do more. Then you started to do a bit more of difficult things. That's how self-motivation becomes developed. Okay, so how then we encourage setting up routines? Okay, so we always explain and discuss lah. So we always start by arranging a time with our teenager. Okay, so find a time that suits for both of you to sit down and talk about it. Explain what the concerns are. Okay, maybe the area is on using mobile phone, or maybe curfew timing, sleeping late, not completing homework. This is the issues that you are facing. Okay, routine is going to help you overcome these issues. For example, if you have dedicated time to use your mobile, then the mobile phone usage, the excessive phone usage problem goes away, right? If you have a nice sleeping time, let's say sleeping time starts at 10, right? That's the time, right? Then everything will fall into place. Sleeping late problem goes away. Not completing homework goes away. All these problems will go away because you have the routine, you have dedicated time to do everything or what's important. Okay? Now, another thing is ask for suggestion, always ask for ideas. I think I keep saying this, we always have to include our teenager because it's actually their life lah. To be honest, we are planning everything around for them, right? So it's only fair to include them, okay, and ask them. But then again, they might say things that is unreasonable. Okay, I only need 4 hours of sleep. Yeah, I don't need so much sleep. 5 hours also can. That's where you talk about, that's where mommy, daddy use your wisdom, your knowledge. Okay, I know about sleep debt. I know about, what happens when you don't get enough sleep, metabolic rates, blah, 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 cortisol all go up, stress level. You share about all these facts. Okay, then they will make another assessment. Okay, what do you think about it? Don't tell me now. Maybe you think about it. We'll talk about this again tomorrow. Let them sit on it because they need longer time to process. Remember, prefrontal cortex? More time to process. Let them sit, digest, and then come back. Okay. Now, then another thing is avoid dismissing. So whatever thing that they share with you, they say 5 hours. You don't have to engage in that like not realistic, or you don't have to engage in the emotional battle with them. Just say that, hey, you know what? I think 5 hours. Well, thank you for sharing with me that you want to sleep only for 5 hours, but facts state that, or research states that 5 hours is insufficient. Like that. Okay. Yeah, this is very factual. You are dismissing, but very factually, not emotionally. Okay? And then after you set some routines in place, you do a try and error. Always be open to rewrite it, and then ask them, you know what? Once we list this down, it's not like you can always come and talk to mommy and daddy about it to adjust, make changes, whatever it is. And where should we paste it so that we can all look at your routines together. And then this is something that you have to discuss with your teenager lah. Okay? The best is to put it in their bedroom at the door where they can see that, right? And so think about it. If you have not done routine, something for you to think about. Okay. Right. Next is strategies for online habits. I'm going to just talk a bit about this. I know this is a problem for the current internet generation. Right. So we have to think about our own, before we even look at our teenager online habits, we have to always reflect on our own journey. How are we currently with our online habits? Be honest lah, okay? Ask ourselves, okay, let's revisit our own habits because our teenager is observing us in these ways. If we are scrolling or all day and we are like doing it in the toilet at home during dinner, or we are just like binge watching, we cannot expect our teenager to do anything differently. Okay, I know it's hard, but that's just how they take reference from us. Okay, and I know I use this statement a lot. I'm sorry to annoy you, but that's the truth. Okay, if let's say you are parents that brings work home and you are, these are time spent away from your family, but you can't help it, right? You have to do the work. The work is work, right? So you can just acknowledge it in the open and say that, I know I'm bringing work home so much these days because I have an audit coming up, but, and it's taking time away from you guys, and I wish I could spend more time with you, but, I'm just going to do this real quick, and then I'll come back and I'll spend time with you as much as I can, okay? Yeah. All right, so you have to just address it openly. Now, one of the things is to have rules lah, okay, surrounding online habits, okay, because that's the main thing. For teenager, maybe I share with you statistics. For research have shown that moderate use of screen 4 hours a day are actually associated with less curiosity. Yeah, and then lower self-control and increased distractibility. So they are very distracted, okay? They are very angsty, and they are also not calm and not curious. Okay, so for children or for teenagers, you need to set very clear rules on screen time. All right, so it has to be lesser than 4 hours a day. On average, I would say maybe about 2 hours to 3 hours, yeah, all right, of screen time after school, in a day lah, okay, because 4 hours already have all these negative effects, okay. And I think this is very, very important. You need to establish device-free time zones in your home. That's why the routines, these routines and this will come together, because when you are doing this part of the routine, maybe you are eating, no device, right? Or you're doing homework, no device. But when you can have device, okay, after you finish your homework, the routine says at 8 o'clock onwards, 8 to 8:30 is your free time. You can have your device time there, something like that, okay? Now, another thing is to have a very good discussion in this area lah. If you are spending your time in the virtual world, that means less time in your real life, right? This is actually a theory of displacement, right? You cannot be doing two things at the same time, okay? So very important that you need to take note of this, because screen time really have detrimental impacts on our children, and we are not really doing a lot about that. Okay. All right, so we're going to skip the case study. Now we're going to just look at enforcing rule on screen time. We're very just short how she does it, because she already has, so this parent already has some routine, already discussed the rules. So it's very easy how she talks to her teenager.
Rachel,
Yeah,
what time is it now?
10.
Yeah, what's our rule for 10 p.m.?
Stop at 10, I guess.
Can you do that?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, life is good, right? When you have all the rules, when you have all the routines, agreement, arrangement, what do we say at 10? Stop at 10. Huh? Agree or not, mommy daddies? Yeah? Yeah. Would it be that easy for you, for your teenager to have, to put aside screen when you have some rules in place, some routines in place? Yeah? Something to ask yourself, huh? All right. Okay, so moving on to the fourth ingredient, which is on school activities. Okay, so we're looking at really the CCAs here lah, okay? And why getting involved in such CCAs or school activities is important. Now, remember the crisis teenagers go through at adolescence phase? I shared with you earlier about that Erik Erikson theory. Now, when they ask questions like, where do I belong? How can I contribute? Who am I? Now, all these questions can be answered through their participation in CCAs or in other school activities. Because that's where, if they're not doing well academically, at least they are also doing something, at least they're doing well in another area. And then they will have that self-esteem being developed there also, right? So this kind of strong connectedness is very helpful, especially for them to view the school as a fun, safe place. So they don't dread going to school. Okay, and it also gives them an opportunity to experience other people beyond the classroom setting. So sometimes they don't like the teacher, right? They can be very stressed about the teacher. I got a client who is very stressed about the teacher, started to have physiological effect. Like, wow, stomach ache, suddenly want to go to school, stomach ache, want to bomb a nightmare the day before. Things like that. It's real, it's real. Yeah. So when they have a CCA or they have other school activities, they participate. I mean, they interact with other teachers, and the other teachers can be very positive, right? And it overshadows the earlier negative experience. All right. Now, can I see some of the responses from the parents? I hope you're still with me. We still have a few minutes left, almost coming to an end. But some reactions from the parents here, right? Is your child's school actively looking for your participation? Right. I mean, not right now, but maybe 1 year ago, like, if you can reflect. Yeah. Do they ask you to volunteer or anything like that? Okay. Yeah. Some of you say yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very actively. Wow, very good. And do you go or not? Do you go? Those of you say yes. Yeah. Yes, you go, Okay, good. Yeah, that's very good. And why? I'll share with you what's the benefit. Okay, now I'm also a parent volunteer, right? Just because I want to understand how the school environment is like. Now, we will never have real insight until we walk the ground. Then we can know how the teachers are with the students, how the school treats the teachers, because then that will have a trickle effect on the students. And then we see what kind of infrastructure the school actually has to support children development. This one are all that they don't share at orientation. Okay, so these are things you have to eyeball yourself. Okay, so thank you so much for your honest response. Very good. When you are, when you are involved in school activities, you are really on the ground. You know what are the things, and sometimes you get to know the teachers, because teachers, they respond to you differently if they know you are out to seek some kind of information from them. Correct? They also must keep their distance, they also must draw boundary. But if let's say you are a parent volunteer, you are interacting with teacher so and so, this mother tongue teacher, you can get information from them at a very casual basis. Correct? These are nuggets of information you cannot get from the teacher, from your form teacher, your child's form teacher. Okay? So very helpful stuff. And another thing is that sometimes if your teenager is not doing well in school, in certain CCAs, telling you things about some drama happening in the school, right, in the class, okay, this is where you can seek out opportunities in the school, because now you know the school very well. You know what CCA they have, then who is the people that's in the CCA. Maybe this CCA got a lot of trophy. You already eyeball the trophy they always will display the trophies, right, in the school, right? That's something for you to discuss with your teenager. Hey, you know what? I think your school is thriving in this area of sports. Do you think you want to go and have a look at it? Try to think about it a bit more. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so this is very interesting. And lastly is actually basically taking attendance seriously to avoid truancy lah. I think this is just how you can continue to encourage your youth to stay in the school environment. Okay, because once they are not in school, they are truant, then there's no school environment to deal with at all. Okay. In the fifth ingredient, we talk about following school rules. Not the best not the most favorite for our teenagers. Yeah, but very necessary, because like one of your parents already pointed out, boundary is very important. Alright. Yeah, it enables them to be better teenagers in the community. Right. Being respectful not only to parents but also to the laws. Right. Yeah. And they need to follow. This is part of society. Okay. So these are the reasons why following rules are very important. Okay, to have civic order lah, basically, especially in Singapore, right? Follow rules is the way to go, right? Yeah. And one thing is that also improve their employment prospects. And also open up opportunity for the teachers to include them in certain activities, because this youth always follow rules. That's why can include in this, maybe got potential to be that. Yeah, so they also open up doors for the youth that is rule following lah. Now, how then we encourage your teenager to follow some school rules? Okay. Now, so we have to encourage them to follow rules. That's number one. But it's not simply just tell them to follow the rules. Okay. We must find out what are the rules. Okay. So in the handbook, you will know what are the basic rules. What is the school expectation, the haircut expectation, the dress code, blah, 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 right? You need to find out what is the rules. Then talk to them about it. Okay, let's say they come, actually no need to talk to them about it if they don't raise it up. If they raise it up, like, just now my teacher highlighted my sideburn too long. Okay, then find out a bit about the rules on sideburns. Okay, yeah. Then ask them, okay, what do you think about the having long sideburns? You'll be the only one having it, or you see other people having long sideburns? Then your teacher said, no, don't have, only just me. But why not long one? Oh, okay. What is the length? They will probably know. Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about having longer than that? It's considered long. Let them understand what is the dress code and how the school wants to be represented. Okay, because it's very important, because we talk about identity formation, right? And part of identity formation is the dress code. Okay, it's how they actually, the outlook of your teenager in the school uniform, or the appearance of your teenager lah. Okay, so if your teenager do find out, if your teenager actually share that some rules are annoying and they don't really feel like following it for some reason, and it's very hard for them to follow for some reason, have a discussion about that. Okay, have a discussion. Why are they whining about some things so much? Okay, ask them. Okay, let them know. Okay, you know what? the rules that we have at home. But let's try to mimic some of the rules. Okay, maybe not combing the hair to go to school. I mean, before going to school. Okay, at home, after you finish shower, the first thing you need to do is comb your hair. Make it as part of a rule at home. So it becomes a habit. Okay, or you need to cut your hair regularly once a month. Yeah, so make it into a routine. Whatever that makes sense to your teenager to help them understand the rules at school must be followed. Okay, some parents, don't be too quick to tell the teacher, adjust your school rules. Have a discussion with your school teachers as well if really you find it unreasonable. Okay, now motivation is very important. Motivation thrives when students understand that following the school rules actually leads to success. Okay, so there's no point forcing them. It's really letting them understand why rules are there and why they must follow it. Okay, so really factually telling them. Yeah, and the reason why I think one thing we need to know why success is actually personally driven, or why intrinsic motivation is very important than extrinsic motivation, is that if a child or if a youth is actually intrinsically motivated, right, you find that they are able to push themselves easily. Yeah, and that's how they become self-motivated. Okay, it is not later I'll talk a bit about that, but yeah, it doesn't sound as complicated as it seems, right? So intrinsic motivation basically refers to the spontaneous tendency to seek out novelty and challenges, right? Beyond, or maybe to exercise your capacity to learn. So if you are, I mean, there is a book that I actually read about the human brain. I think I mentioned earlier, right? It's always primed to seek out novelty, right? Something new. And you will see this in babies because they are always crawling to discover something new, something different, and they always want to, because they are curious. So it's very innate. It's innate in us to be intrinsically motivated. Yeah? But along the way, this get lost because we get accidental rewards. Okay? Yeah, we get reward without even doing so much. Okay, so it becomes externally motivated. Oh, if I do this much, I will get something. Confirm I get something from daddy. Daddy should buy me the video game. Example. Okay. So along the way, this intrinsic motivation gets a bit dampened. Okay. Now, if you can recall, okay, remember I said about intrinsic motivation. Our natural sense of our natural sense of development is that we are curious. It starts from there. Curiosity, you can see number one, is motivated by curiosity. So remember I talked about the research earlier about screen. If your child is exposed to 4 hours of screens a day or almost there, it actually affects curiosity. So research shows that 78% of such children actually have their curiosity level dampened also. So can you connect the dots here between curiosity, intrinsic motivation, and screens? Yeah? No? If no, never mind, I will explain. Yeah, but there is a link because curiosity is the engine of intrinsic motivation. When a child is curious, they are motivated to explore and solve problems and learn. And these are the ingredients of intrinsic motivation. But if they are doing excessive screen time, it reduces curiosity. Okay, therefore, intrinsic motivation does not exist, or it decreased significantly. Okay, so that's how the importance of screens in this intrinsic motivation. So I hope you take something from this slide. And I didn't lose you. Okay, yeah. So the last ingredient is having supportive friends. Okay, I'm coming to the end. I promise you. Okay, so if you're with me, good job. Okay, so you have pushed through so far, and this is the last ingredient of having supportive friends. Now, parents, try to think of yourself. Do you have supportive friends right now? Any friends from childhood, secondary, primary, tertiary, to beyond that, your work? Yeah? Okay. So some parents are saying yes. Yeah? Sure, do have, yes. For sure must have, right? Yeah, because we are social beings, right? And I think one of the research shows that in marriage, in I think it's Terry Cotman, I can't remember, but he's a researcher. He shows that actually people who live longer in life, right, are those who have very good social connections. Yeah. So please have friends, okay? Right? And understand the importance of having supportive friends. Okay, that's actually a very good start. Okay. Now, when your youth is actually facing problems, it is not surprising that they will actually go to their friends for solutions. Okay, so we need to know that. Okay, we need to know that this is actually a very common reaction for them. Okay, now because they feel that they can relate with their friends better. Remember, it's all about relating in relationship. Friends can relate better, they can understand, so they tend to go to a friend to ask for help. Okay, so don't take it personally, but we need to also let them know that, okay, yeah, we are here, okay, but if you really need to talk to your friend about problems, it's fine. But remember, you also need to be the one to support your friend if your friend comes to you for problems, right? Because it's a supportive relationship, reciprocal relationship. Okay, so when a teenager starts to reciprocate, they tend to develop strong friendships. Okay, and then this is the one that will last in adulthood. So for those of the parents who say yes, you have friends from your secondary school days or earlier, yeah, maybe you have a reciprocal relationship with that friend. Okay, and this is how friendship can last. Okay, so I think what's the important thing, if I can just share in this slide, is that you need to know who your friends are. Okay, and how this friend can actually be beneficial to you. Because if let's say they are not, then probably this is something that you want to discuss with your teenager about lah. Especially if they are high risk peer influence. Okay, because if high risk peer influence, you already must intercept. Okay, so although I say supportive friends is good or having friends is good, you need to know between the good and the bad. Now, how to help teenager develop supportive friends? Okay, basically you need to create suitable and safe time to talk. Give them basically you want to talk to me about your friends. You need to find out about your teenager friends, right? So you need to give them some airtime lah to tell you about their friends. Okay. Now, if they are spending some time with friends that are not so good, like I said earlier, you have to intercept. Okay, so start off by talking about your day. This is the best start, right? Okay, I have this friend in work. Yeah, my friend at work also does this, like to take my drinks in the fridge, or like to just eat all the chocolates in the pantry. Yeah, so I feel very annoyed. You can talk about that. How about you? Do you have such friends? Then they will start talking. Okay, now yeah, so it's very good to have such a liner. So prepare some. Encourage if you can. I think not everybody likes to do this, but a lot of the teenagers that I know of, actually their parents actually allow them to bring their friends over. Okay, just have some rules about friends over lah. Like, what are the routine? Let your teenager tell the friend what is the teenager's routine. Okay, or put it in a place where the friend can also see the routine. So the friend also know that, oh, this so and so actually have this much time to play. Okay, right? And then we'll respect that routine. Okay, and then you can say that, okay, if let's say your friend actually very respectful to our routine, I feel that he or she can come over more. Okay, because of this. All right. One thing is that go to events together with friends. I think this is where you can think about a bit more. There are some parents who actually don't allow the teenagers to go to events, but I think not really in Singapore lah. Like there's maybe in the Western countries where the places can be very far. Yeah. But in Singapore, yeah, if you can build a trusting relationship, you can have some arrangements, some agreements set in place. Yeah, please. Probably something you can explore, but you need to know who your teenager is going out with lah. Okay. Now, make time to talk to your teenager if there are some concerns or some problems. If they don't talk about it, give them time. Don't need to keep asking or harping about it. Let them know that, there are some things that you may like or you may not like. It is not important right now. What's important is you tell me, you let me know what are the things that you are facing so that I can better prepare I can better support you. That's it. Okay. If you feel that you are the parent that your child don't relate well with because of past experiences, okay, don't worry. Just say it out. I know that I have been rough, with you. Things haven't been going so well with us. Yeah, and maybe what's happening in school is something that I might not approve. But I just want to let you know that I'm more open now. I'm very keen to hear from you. So please give me a chance. You can say like that. Then your teenager, wow, mommy, daddy want to ask me for a chance. Wow. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So then if you want, if really is a problem that needs you to or warrants a discussion with the teacher, go ahead and do that. Most of the time, I don't know if the parents here will do it, but some parents say that that is the last resort lah. Okay, right. And then lastly is encourage them to talk to the teachers they like, also as a form of support. That's why you need to be a parent. You need to be more involved in the school activity so that you know which teacher your child is talking about. Okay, all right. All right, so points to remember. Okay, so again, we all make mistakes. I already shared earlier about the 80-20 rule. All right, remember to always back each other up, especially when it comes to supporting your teenager, because if you are not consistent, they will smell it, and then they will start to pick which parent they want to respond to and which parent they want to react to. Then you have a problem. Okay, all right. Okay, so I just want to ask you, we've reached the end of the presentation actually. Just want to give you a short poll. Okay, so if I can, let's just launch one poll. Now, based on what I've shared earlier, right? If you can just share with me, what are the things that you think it's that you want to have a start after today? You want them to go into a bit of self-discipline, yeah, knowing that they need to do certain things at certain time, or would you rather them, take the steps for problem solving or routines? Okay. Okay, all right, we'll end the poll now. And then thank you so much, parents, for just sharing with us. Yes, I see that, yes, developing self-discipline is still the highest here. And I cannot blame you because it's really very important, right? To be self-disciplined. Okay, and it does take time. So, yeah. So one of the things that we want to take note of to make parenting an enjoyable journey is we want to always remember for teenagers, the push and pull factor, it plays a big role. Take a step back so that our teenager can step up. All right. Don't overwhelm them. Just really take one thing, one change at a time. So if you want to do routine, go ahead and just do routine first. Some of the books to consider reading. I'm not familiar with these two books, but I think they are something to look at lah. Okay. Now, can I just get the parents here to do a quick feedback on how you find this sharing was, and then I will just leave the questions at the end. Okay, just take a quick QR. I mean, just take a picture or just scan this QR code. Okay, because this feedback is very important for us to improve and do more of, do less of, and all that. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to the next slide. So if you need this slide again, let me know later. I'll just zoom it back. Oh, there's actually a feedback link. Thank you so much, Shamini. Okay, and now I'm going to share with you a little bit about this L3 individual consultations. Okay, so I also do this. So what this does, right, is that sometimes we have teenagers that we have, amongst us, that are giving such problems that we somehow feel very lost. We don't know how to solve it, right? And we need that one-to-one support. So some of the issues that is very common, if those teenagers that is rude, very disrespectful, or digital issues, or maybe they are experiencing high level of anxiety, okay? And they are in high-risk behaviors, okay? They are drinking alcohol, experimenting with their sexual identity, or maybe doing drugs. I mean, not so much, but then, yeah, something like that, okay? So, or maybe cutting and all that. So these are very extreme cases, or if not, if you really feel that you need one-to-one support, these are actually areas that we actually help with, and we do like a 4-session, right, of about 45 minutes to 1 hour long, and then we go into that pyramid. Okay, how's the relationship like? What is it that you want to do? What is the misbehavior? And how can we commit to making changes? Okay, all right. So this is the QR code for you to scan if you want to have one-to-one. It's free of charge. Okay, for now. So please take advantage of this opportunity. Okay. Now, if you have no other, if everything is okay, I will just take on some questions if you have any. I know some of you actually posted some questions at the top, but I think I might not be able to see them now. But yes, please, if you have any questions that you would like to know, please feel free. I'll just scroll and then see if I can locate any questions. Okay, so now some of you say that now you understand why your son keeps whining. Oh, thank you for the thank you for making me laugh. Now, I love it when some parents actually share their difficulties, right? And then other parents jump in with solutions, because this is where sometimes you do cross learning. So I think one of the parents actually shared earlier, like, wow, tried but fail. You know, I tried put consequences but fail. You know, then how, right? Don't want to do chores. Then another parent actually quipped in saying that, yeah, you know, increasing the amount of pocket money, yeah, might be a privilege that you introduce. Yeah, so that's very good. And I love that how you guys are very aware also, if your teenager chooses to close it as a problem, don't need to further solve. You just have to accept it. And I love this. I think this parent is very respectful herself to be able to come to this conclusion, because it's true. If they say that it's not a problem, it's not a problem, right? Okay. So how to handle my son to stop asking to change school? He keeps asking every 2 or 3 days. Oh, okay. Right. So there's something that's happening in the school environment that probably is not in sync with your child. And you probably need to find out what that is first. Right. And that also would mean you have to start getting yourself a bit more involved. So your question is actually more on the school activity, right? How would you need to get yourself more close to the school activity so that you can understand the school's infrastructure in terms of the activities that is lined up for the students, the support that the student receive if the student face problems, right? Is there a mentor-mentee kind of relationship? Because usually in secondary school, they don't have Sec 3 or the student leaders will pair up with a Sec 1 teenager. So what kind of support you need to understand first before you go into problem solving. But the important thing is ask your son the feeling. Okay, hey, I hear that you keep asking me about this every 2 or 3 days. Why? I feel very concerned. It got me thinking what's happening, and I'm very concerned about your well-being. You are very important to me, son. You know, do you want to talk about it? Oh, then son talks about it. Then daddy or mommy build up your knowledge about school. Okay, how do we then best approach this matter? Okay, you go into that direction first. Okay, don't straight away say, okay, you want to change school? Okay, let's change. You probably won't do that lah. Okay, but just saying the difference. Would you recommend not to introduce incentives to teens when there is an area of responsibility he needs to be part of? If intrinsic motivation works for as long as the reward is there. Okay, great. Very good question. Thank you so much for asking. Yes, you are right. The thing is, right, if you're talking about incentivizing, okay, everybody here, you all love to be incentivized, right? Correct? I mean, I love to be incentivized. Right? Even if there is something that I need to do or I need to be part of, if I have to complete a work proposal and my boss says that, oh, you know, guys, you work very hard, you know, lunch is on me. I feel very happy, right? Same thing, human nature, right? We all love this feel good because the dopamine center is actually very high on your youth's brain, right? So remember this, you have to consider incentivizing. It doesn't have to be material. It could be praising, right? Hey, you know what? I see that you are doing maybe the part of area of responsibility, maybe a chores lah. Maybe they have to hang the towel back. Yeah, I see that you are putting effort in hanging your towel back. You know, right? It is very important for us to keep our towel dry to prevent mold. As simple as that. Give them praise. Okay. Now let's say you are giving material incentives, right? That's right. Once they are able to do things on their own, remember I say habit need to be formed about 66 days, right? So you give and take lah. Maybe about 1 month in, you see progress. Okay, maybe still need to prompt. Okay, continue the reward system. 2nd month in, okay, continue, but lesser. Okay, maybe the reward here is extra 30 minutes of screen time over the weekend. Okay. Son, I see that you are becoming more responsible, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. You know, and I have been giving you some attention for your good behavior, for this effort, right? However, however, I just want to let you know that in the moving forward, I will be reducing your screen time. I mean, the reward for the 30 minutes over the weekends will be reduced to 20 minutes, but you will have 10 minutes of extra, or you will have 20 minutes of you have 20 minutes of screen time over the weekends, but I'll definitely whip you up something special, a special snack. That's how you gradually reduce things. You don't just take everything out and go cold turkey. Like that, the teenager also will, wow, like that I do so well, then you punish me with taking away my reward. They will think this way. So you have to slowly plan your in and out. I hope that answers the question. Right. So perhaps need to encourage him to see the positive in his current school. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, this parent actually highlighted. That's great. Thank you so much. So if we give praise every time the child does well or right, will it come too common, repetitive, and diminish its intended effect? Yeah. Okay, very good question. That's why the praise that we give has to be descriptive. It has to describe the very behavior that you are observing. Let's say your child cleans the table after themselves, right? Hey, son, I see that you are cleaning the table very well these days and you're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you. Done. The next day, also clean table, ma. Okay, say, hey, I'm seeing that you are actually doing this. You're cleaning the table very auto now. Wow, I'm very proud of you. Wow, that's a very good skill. You don't have to keep saying it again and again. You can change your words, right? Or maybe you can say that, hey, you are very careful in handling the utensils during cleanup, right? Yeah, but praising is good. Who doesn't like to be praised? Right? You ask yourself this question. If you are a parent, or if you are like currently you are working, right? Right? Yeah. If your boss praise you, you like or not? Even if it's very repetitive, you like or not? Still like, right? I mean, I would like. Yeah. So don't worry about diminishing its intended effect. I get the concern. Yeah, it can be very annoying. Let your child know lah. Why you keep praising me? Why you keep telling me? Then you know already. Okay, back off. Remember? Step back. You want your child to be assertive? Let them tell you what bothers them. I hope that answers. Yeah, I slowly phase it out. Yeah, I think the parent also commented that you need to phase out the incentives. Yeah, okay. All right, okay. So any other questions? I think we are timed at 4:30, just nice. But if you have any questions, you can just feel free to post them still. If not, then you can leave some of the questions and we'll see if we can revisit them in Seminar 3 next week. But do come for Seminar 3 because Seminar 3 talks about how, when our teenager transition, they go to next level, right? It's a totally new environment. Sometimes they don't really get in touch with their old friends. Then they will not have a proper closure. This leads to grief. Grief, because grief is a real problem, and sometimes grief is an emotional thing, and they get very they cannot move past it because it's not resolved in them. So we talk a bit about that, in how to keep in touch with old friends, because that's what your teenager might want, because they are transiting, right? They still want closure. Even if they cannot contact the old friend anymore, at least give them closure. So that's actually in next seminar. We also talk about planning ahead, because we always like to talk about planning ahead to avoid failure. So we plan ahead for success. So a lot of very good stuff. I think that's actually in the third seminar. So do come. Please drop out if you need to go. Thank you so much for all your time, and thank you for sitting through 2.5 hours. I know it's really a lot to ask, but I appreciate your time, and I hope that you can continue to be very participative and giving comments. And I will read actually some of the things that you sent today, and I'll probably see if I can weave into any of the content next week, so that it becomes relevant, and you can just try to hear out your questions, okay, if it's left unanswered. But thank you so much. I love it when parents share information with another parent, so please continue this supportive network. All the best in your weekend. No lah. All the best for today. I know it's a rainy weather. Stay safe, avoid flash floods, and take care. And I'll see you next week. Oh, you missed out the first hour. Okay, it's okay. We probably will just see if we can weave anything in, okay? But you can actually read the feedback from the chat. Okay, not to worry. The content tip sheets will be provided, so you can always read. Yeah. Important is reflect today, after today, okay, what strategy you want to try, okay, and then start doing a little bit. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend, whatever that's left. such a big commitment from parents to sit in the middle of the day and listen to a workshop. Wonderful. Dedicated parents. Make sure your teenager is looking at you, and you can say, see, I learned a lot of things, how to parent you better. Okay, take care, guys. Very welcome. See you, take care. Okay. Good question about the resolving teens who's influenced by social media influencers. Very hard to get them off that, yeah? It's the trend. Yeah, but okay, sure. Thank you so much for raising. Let's talk. Let's see if we can weave that in for next session, okay? Because that's a little bit about being socially skilled. Yeah, what information you take and don't take. Yeah, but thank you so much for that. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Sonia. Hi, Annie. How are you? Yeah, sure. I think
Hi,
Sharika.
sorry, I just turned on my audio.
Okay, let me just one moment.